Welcome. Friend, you made it here, and that's enough. Whatever this day brought joy, stress, uncertainty, or sorrow, it's all okay to bring it before God right now. You don't have to leave anything behind. Just bring your whole heart, exactly as it is. In a world that never seems to stop, God offers you a sacred pause, a moment to rest, reflect, and remember who you are, His beloved child. As you hear the scriptures tonight, imagine each word wrapping around you like a soft blanket of peace, reminding you that no matter how chaotic life feels, there is still beauty in being still. Maybe you've been running on empty. Maybe you've tried everything to quiet your mind, but the noise won't fade. Let this be the moment you stop trying and simply receive. God's word is alive. It breathes life into your soul, brings calm to your spirit, and restores your strength one breath at a time. So tonight, let every verse remind you you are safe, you are loved, and you are not forgotten. As the night deepens and your body begins to relax, may His peace guard your heart like a gentle tide, steady, patient, and full of grace. If you feel blessed by these words, please subscribe and share this channel so others can find the same stillness and encouragement in God's Word. Together, we can build a community of peace, one that rests in faith, hope, and quiet trust. Now, let's settle in, let's listen, and let's rest in God's presence, where peace is not just a promise, but a reality waiting for you tonight. I invite you to open your heart tonight as we journey into the calming embrace of God's Word. I sit with the soft light of a single lamp. The room breathes slowly. A small Bible rests on my lap. I place a hand over it, not to press, but to feel its presence. The pages are warm from my fingers. I slow my own breath. In this quiet, we make room. I ask you to breathe with me. Inhale gently, hold for a moment. Exhale and let the tension fall away. Repeat once more. Each breath becomes softer. Each breath brings the mind closer to stillness. The world beyond the window grows distant. The mind begins to unclench. We are simply present. I turn a page. The paper whispers. I read slowly, not to teach, not to argue, only to sit together in the soothing company of words that have sheltered hearts for ages. The sentences move like a gentle stream. They carry us. They do not demand anything. They offer rest. The first passage I let sink in speaks of guidance through quiet places. It paints a picture of walking beside calm waters, of lying down where grass is soft and forgiving. I let that image rest in the chest. I imagine a path lit by a dim, kind light. I imagine hands steadying someone who is weary. No pressure, only steady presence. A second passage follows. It assures that a refuge stands close at hand when storms arrive. It describes shelter like a rock or a safe room in the midst of noise. The words do not explain every why. They simply promise steadiness. I let those promises shape the quiet inside, like a slow tide. Worry recedes. The edges of fear smooth out. I pause between lines. I place the palm of my hand on my heart for a moment. The pulse is a small drum of life. It speaks a steady truth. Breath continues. Hope continues. Mercy continues. These simple facts become anchors. The book in my lap is a gentle companion. It does not demand. It invites. Together we focus on one image for a while. A lamp set beside a bed. A soft blanket. A Kiethaus. The lamp's light does not glare. It does not insist. It merely holds a small circle of warmth. In that circle, memories loosen their grip. Regrets become distant échos. The notion of having to fix everything tonight slips away. This moment asks for only rest. I read a passage that uses the language of presence. It uses the idea of drawing near, of quiet listening, of being seen without needing to prove anything. The sentences are simple. They sit like small stones on the palm of the hand. I take one and turn it over. I do not analyze it. I let it rest there and feel how its weight calms the fingertips. Your breath motres mine. The room breathes with us. Images of light and shelter repeat. The book offers reminders that the heart can find peaceful ground. No grand arguments happen here. No lists of rules. Only gentle reminders that mercy is not measured by performance. The voice in the pages brooks no boasting. It simply offers an invitation, come and be still. As I move through the pages, the rhythm stays slow. I read lines that speak of being cared for like a child at dusk. I picture a guardian lowering a hand to ease a heavy head. Comfort arrives not as a loud entrance, but as a quiet settling. It touches without forcing. The softness communicates a truth. The mind had almost forgotten. Rest can be safe. I slow the reading further. Each sentence becomes an act of attention. Each phrase is allowed to breathe. In these pauses, I remind myself and you that healing often grows in spaces between words. Silence is not empty. It is soft soil. It welcomes seeds of peace. Together we stay in that soil. The next portion of the reading brings images of forgiveness and gentle renewal. It does not dwell on lists of faults. It lays out a path forward with small, steady steps. These steps are not grand. They are gestures of returning, a slow turning toward what is true. I let the mind follow one footstep at a time. No rush, no weight of proving, just the steady motion of moving toward morning. I notice how the breath deepens, the shoulders descend by a hair, the jaw unclenches, small muscles that held tension relax. This is the work of words spoken slowly and kindly. A kind word can act like warm water on sore limbs. It eases. It softens. It invites rest. I read from a section that paints a wide sky above us. It uses language of watching stars that feel constant even when clouds pass. I fold that image into the quiet. The sky does not demand our constant attention. It simply hangs there, generous and patient. The thought that something vast holds the smallness of a single night brings an unexpected calm. A passage reminds gently that worries do not hold final authority. They are visitors. They can be acknowledged and then set down. I lower the weight of worry onto the page. The act of naming softens it. The act of offering it up like a small package releases tension from the hands. There is no need to carry everything into sleep. I keep my voice low. Each word is measured. I choose language that settles rather than sparkles. The rhythm of sentences moves like a lullaby rather than a sermon. This work requires tenderness. It requires a care that values rest above triumph. My tone stays even and patient. I invite one more image before closing this part of the reading. Imagine a safe shore at the edge of a vast sea. The waves come and go. The shore remains. We walk to it. The sand is cool underfoot. The horizon widens. It does not require us to have answers. Instead, it offers space to breathe, to listen, to let the night carry away small anxieties. As I reach the end of this segment, I slow even more. I fold the Bible closed with deliberate gentleness. The cover makes a quiet sound. This moment marks a choice. The choice is to lay down the day and rest into this calm. The choice is not escape. It is acceptance of a simple truth. Healing often begins with stillness. I leave a short silence now. In it, feel the steady presence that came through the pages. It does not vanish. It lingers like a soft afterglow. Let the chest sink slightly. With a long exhale, allow the shoulders to settle into the mattress or chair. Notice how small movements feel lighter. Before we move on, I offer a small intention. We will return to these words through the coming nights. Each evening will be a gentle step deeper. The aim is not thoroughness. It is restoration. We will let mercy and hope breathe into tired places. We will listen for the quiet guidance that rests in the margins. I close this part with a promise. I will read again. I will come back with the same slow pace and the same tender eyes. For now, rest. Let the mind soften into sleep. Let the heart feel steady. The night is not empty. It is a space where healing begins. We meet there, in the hush, and we grow still together. I feel the warmth of a community gathered here. The thought is small and steady. It rests like a soft shawl across the shoulders. People who listen and grow together form a quiet group. They encourage one another without noise. They share small victories and quiet burdens. They learn to breathe together. That warmth reaches across the room and settles in the chest. If this moment brings comfort, share it with someone you trust. Tell a friend about the calm you found. Send this reading to a loved one. Leave a gentle note that says, "Come and rest." Small acts keep this warmth alive. They let mercy travel beyond these walls. Now, we move to settling into peace. Let the breath become slow and even. Inhale for a count that feels natural. Hold for a heartbeat. Exhale fully. Let shoulders drop. Allow the face to soften. Each breath makes the body quieter. Tension slider zo like mist. Focus on the senses that stay close. Feel the mattress or chair beneath. Notice the weight of the blanket. Hear the hush of the room. Smell the faint scent of night air or tea. These details anchor the mind. They bring attention back from fast thoughts. Attention becomes still. I open the Bible again. The pages fold gently underneath my hand. I read with a steady voice that does not hurry. Words appear slow and clear. They do not demand explanation. They offer rest. A verse about quiet waters comes first. Picture a narrow channel of water that moves without rush. It does not carve deep grooves. It only reflects the sky. The noise of the day feels distant when looking at that surface. The image invites a slow step. Feet touch cool stone. The echo of busy thoughts softens. Another passage mentions shelter in plain language. Think of a small room with a low roof that fits the heart. It does not promise instant answers. It offers a safe place to set down questions. It promises hands that steady and a presence that stays. That is enough for tonight. As I read, the voice remained soft. Sentences rest between breaths. Silence grows like a gentle room around the words. In the silence, allow whatever comes to be noticed. There is no need to fix anything right now. Simply let the feelings pass through without judgment. They are seen and held. Notice how the chest expands and contracts. The movement is a faithful rhythm. It keeps time when thought wanders. Return to the breath. Let it be a steady friend. When worry arrives, name it quietly. Then let it go, like a leaf on a stream. The act of naming eases the weight. I remind you that mercy is present even in small things. A soft phrase in the text speaks of forgiveness as a morning that returns. It does not erase all the past. It offers a fresh start for today. Imagine a thin light at dawn drawing a line across the horizon. The dark does not vanish suddenly. It yields slowly. That slope toward light offers room to breathe. Think of a hand placed gently on a brow. The hand cools fevered worry. It does not announce reasons. It simply stays. The steadiness of such a touch is more comforting than many words. Imagine that steadiness enveloping the heart. Allow it to mend small frays of fear. There is also space here for gratitude, not the loud, demanding kind, a quiet noticing, gratitude that the body still breathes. Gratitude for one person whose small kindness mattered today. Gratitude for the capacity to receive rest. A small note of thanks softens the chest. It widens the room inside. We move now to a simple practice. Close the eyes if that feels safe. Place both hands over the belly. Breathe. So the hands rise on the in-breath and fall on the out-breath. Keep the pace easy. Count only if it helps. Let the rhythm be unhurried. With each out-breath, imagine a small tension leaving the body. With each in-breath, imagine a gentle calm entering. The Bible speaks in images that fit this pace. It offers the picture of a shepherd who walks beside a flock. The sheep do not perform to be led. They simply follow the voice that knows the path. That voice is not loud. It is familiar. Let that image carry you along a quiet trail. The trail bends around high rocks and low meadows. The day cools. The path opens toward safe rest. There is comfort in shared struggle. Imagine a table where weary hands meet. Plates are simple. Conversation is soft. No one must explain themselves fully. A community simply sits and listens. The work of bearing burdens is shared. That sharing makes loads lighter. It also makes joy greater. in such a place, laughter and silence both have room. Tonight, this shared space extends to those who are not here. Names drift into the mind. Some are alive, some are remembered. Offer them a quiet blessing in the heart. It does not need spoken prayer. A wish of peace is enough. Let the width of that wish surprise you. It reaches to neighbors, to strangers, to those who feel alone. Mercy travels in small waves. I read another short passage about rest and trust. It says trust grows in small acts of faithfulness. The acts are simple, showing up, holding a hand, forgiving one more time. Trust does not arrive all at once. It builds like laying stones in a path or a team. The path becomes a reliable road. Tonight's rest is one stone. Place it gently and step back. If sleep does not come right away, tolerate the waiting with compassion. Rest is not failure. It is a pause that renews. Let the mind fold around a short phrase. Keep it soft, like a whispered line from a hymn. Repeat it slowly when thoughts stir. The repetition becomes a balm. It moves the heart toward calm. I invite a short imagination now. Picture a small boat tethered near shore. The water laps quietly at the bow. Stars appear. One by one, the boat does not drift far. The anchor holds. The feeling is safe. The harbor waits. This image helps if the night brings vivid thought. Return to the boat. Let its steadiness become your anchor. As the reading continues, the voice slows further. Words are spaced by deep breaths. Each phrase lands before moving on. The text speaks of being kept in a place of peace. It does not promise no loss. It promises presence through losses. That assurance feels like a sheltering roof. It lets the heart lower its guards. We remember that mercy and hope are not the same as perfection. They do not erase scars. They wrap the scars with gentleness. They teach the body and mind how to rest even when wounds remain. This rest is a healing habit. It grows stronger with practice. Each night becomes a lesson in gentleness. I fold the Bible slightly and touch the cover. The texture is familiar. It is a quiet signal that the time to sleep draws near. Close the eyes if they are not closed. Sink into the warmth of this shared pause. The breath keeps steady company. Before I bring this segment to an end, I offer a small invitation. If these readings support rest, return again tomorrow. Bring a friend, if that feels right. Tell them the simple truth. There are quiet words that steady worn hearts. We gather for those words. We listen. We let mercy work in silence. Now a final breath. Slow and full. Let the shoulders fall. Let the jaw unclench. Allow the eyelids to close softly. Feel peace settle like a cool blanket. The night is wide and holds more than we can know. Rest into that holding. I close the book with care. The sound is soft. This closing marks an intention. The intention is to sleep into mercy. The intention is to rise, if morning comes, with a little more ease. For now, rest. The room keeps watch. The community keeps watch. I keep watch in the quiet. and I will return with the same slow voice. Good night. I open the Bible again and let my thumb find the place where forgiveness rests. My voice is low. The lamp casts a small pool of light. We sit together in that pool. Tonight, we focus on forgiveness. We do not lecture. We breathe and listen. Forgiveness is not a quick fix. It is a small path, walked slowly. I read a passage that paints this in quiet images. It speaks of returning. It speaks of a hand reaching out. The words do not argue. They invite. Think of forgiveness as a soft shore. Waves bring things up to be seen. The tide does not judge what washes in. It simply carries. We stand at that shore and watch. We do not need to pick everything up at once. We notice what hurts most. We name it in a whisper. Naming loosens its sharpness. I guide a simple practice now. Place both hands on the knees or the belly. Breathe gently. On the in-breath, imagine a gentle light drawing near. On the out-breath, imagine a small weight lifting. Do this without hurry. The rhythm is calm. Each cycle is a quiet step. I read a verse that feels like cool water on dry skin. It offers an image of a grace that covers frequent mistakes. The idea is not about being perfect. It is about being known and still welcomed. That welcome feels like a warm blanket folded around cold shoulders. It steadies the body. Forgiveness begins with a tiny, honest word inward. It is the soft recognition of a wrong done or felt. No long confession is required. A single thought, a small sentence is enough. I see this. I felt this. I offer it up. The act of seeing it clearly takes pressure off the heart. Clarity brings space. I read another passage that uses the imagery of a shepherd who gathers the lost and the found alike. The shepherd does not tally failures. The shepherd keeps walking until the flock is safe. Hold that image for a breath. Let the sound of footsteps on a quiet path slow the pulse. The steps are steady, not rushed. Forgiveness also has a gentle outward motion. It curls like steam from a warm cup. Extend it in small ways. A soft word. An offered help. A lowered voice when anger pushes. These acts are not grand. They are close and quiet. They create a new pattern where old hurts once lived. If someone cannot be forgiven yet, that is okay. Forgiveness can be separated from reconciliation. Forgiveness is often the first small clearing. Reconciliation may come later, if it comes at all. For tonight, grant yourself permission to place forgiveness like a seed. Do not expect full bloom by morning. Tuck it into good soil and let time do its work. I invite a mental image. Picture a light inside an old jar. The jar does not hide the light. It holds it steady. When anger or regret presses, set the jar down. Watch the light flicker but remain. The jar protects and witnesses. It says that light can exist even while the world outside feels rough. There is a gentle practice of offering names to the silence. Call to mind one person who caused pain, or one act that still stings. Hold the name lightly on the breath. Say nothing aloud. Simply let the breath carry the sound of the name once or twice. Imagine depositing it into a river. Let the river move on. The motion does not erase memory. It changes the way memory sits in the chest. I read a section that talks of mercy, like morning returning. The sense is not of erasing days. It is of waking again to a possibility. Each morning brings a small reset. Tonight, view sleep as one such reset. Lay down what you can. Permit rest to do its quiet work. Forgiveness requires courage of a different kind. It does not agitate. It chooses steadiness. It looks at small facts without magnifying them. It sees a mistake and labels it gently. It names a hurt and offers a response that calms rather than storm. Courage, in this sense, is a slow spine. It does not need to shout. I read words about being washed clean. The metaphor is simple. Think of washing hands at a sink. Warm water. Slow movements. Careful attention. Dirt loosens and slides away. The act does not demand explanation. It simply happens. To be washed is to accept care and let go of grime that clings. There is a simple exercise to try, if the mind allows. Take a small stone or a paper scrap. On its surface, imagine writing the hurt or the name. Do not press hard. The mark is a thought. When ready, carry the stone to a bowl of water. Set it gently in. Watch circles spread. The image is not magical. It is a visual reminder that things change when held by different hands. I read another passage that speaks of wounds that heal over. Scars remain, but they are not the whole story. They become places where new tenderness grows. Think of a tree with a healed limb. The bark covers what once was raw. The tree keeps growing. Beauty returns in its season. We also remember the discipline of asking. It can be as small as 2 words spoken in the heart. Forgive me. These words unclench the jaw. They remove the need to defend. They let the heart open. If spoken aloud is not possible, whisper them inward. The mercy offered is not measured by volume. Forgiveness sometimes means receiving forgiveness. It asks humility. To receive is to accept a gift. Imagine a hand extending bread. The offering does not list reasons. It simply offers. Take it if it feels safe. Allow the body to accept nourishment. To refuse is your right. To accept is also a healing step. I read slowly about a voice that calls people by name and is glad when they return. The tone is not accusing. It is relieved. It is tender. Let that voice be imagined tonight. Let it say, you may come as you are. This invitation lowers defenses. It gives room for rest. To begin, there are nights when anger flares and stays awake longer than we do. For those nights, choose a short phrase to repeat. Keep it soft. Repeat it like a pebble dropped into a pond. The sound steadies the mind. The phrase might be as simple as mercy is here. Repeat it until the body softens. We practice small acts of kindness tonight. Offer a quiet thought to someone who caused harm. Bless their sleep. Do not expect transformation. A quiet blessing can shift something inside. Even the smallest kindness loosens the grip of bitterness. I read a brief passage about mercy being abundant. The language is calm. It does not boast. It invites. Imagine a table where enough food is spread. The table does not demand performance. It welcomes all who come hungry. Place yourself at that table tonight, even if just in imagination. Taste the air of welcome. Forgiveness does not mean forgetting. Memory stays. What changes is the way memory rests. Instead of a tight knot, it settles into a soft loop. The loop does not pull, it holds. Hold the thought with a gentler grip. If sleep comes, allow these images to follow softly into the night. If thoughts return, let them pass like clouds. Naming, breathing. Small practices, these are tonight's tools. They are gentle. They are enough. I fold the corner of the page and close the Bible with slow hands. The book is a warm weight. It sits on the lap like a companion. I pause in the silence that follows. The hush feels like a held breath. Before we part, I offer a short promise. I will return with the same calm pace. I will read the same gentle words. We will continue to learn how to carry mercy. For now, breathe once more. Feel the chest rise and fall. Let the shoulders drop. Place a hand on the heart if that feels safe. Know that forgiveness is a small light. It does not banish all darkness. It makes a place where rest can take hold. The night keeps watch. The mercy that moves through these pages stays near. I close with intent. Sleep into forgiveness tonight. Wake. If morning comes, with a little more ease, the lamp dims. The room sighs. Rest now. Good night. I lift the lamp a little closer. The light makes a soft pool on the page. The Bible rests warm on my knees. I pat the cover with the back of my hand. The gesture is quiet. It feels like setting a small, honest intention. Tonight, I speak about grace. I do not define it with long sentences. I let images do the work. Grace is a door left unlatched. It is a bowl of water placed without question. It is a chair pulled near in the middle of conversation. These images live in the body as much as in the mind. They open spaces where tightness had been. I read a passage that leans on simple pictures. The words in the book do not argue. They invite seeing. I let them settle into the room like a slow rain. Grace, the passage suggests, shows up when a plan fails and someone offers help anyway. It appears when a small mercy comes unasked. The tone is steady, not bright. The calm fits the hour. Breathe with me. In, hold briefly. Out. Each breath is a welcome. Grace moves like that breath. It arrives without demand. It softens the edges of the day. Imagine a soft cloth drawn over a scorch mark. The cloth does not erase the mark. It simply covers and cools. That cooling is grace. I place both hands on the book and feel the slight groove of its spine. The touch anchors the thought. Grace is given. It is also received. Receiving can feel unfamiliar. It can feel unearned and therefore awkward. Tonight, permission to receive is small and quiet. Say nothing aloud. Let the body accept. Let the chest unclench a little. Allow a small relief to move in. The text I read tonight uses the image of a field after harvest. Stubble remains. The field looks plain, yet there are seeds left at the edges. A passerby picks them up and scatters them freely. No ledger, no tally. The seeds are not given as payment. They are placed in hope. That simple act mirrors grace. It is not a transaction. It is an offering that trusts life to do the rest. Grace also asks for humility of a particular sort. It asks the hands to loosen their hold. It asks the mind to lower the need for full control. This lowering is not weakness. It is a kind of courage. It takes courage to stop fixing and to start resting in what is given. Imagine a tight fist opening. Finger splee. The palm rests up. The posture receives. I guide a short practice now. Close the eyes if that feels safe. Put a hand over the heart. Breathe slowly. Picture a pale morning light sliding across a cup on a windowsill. The light warms the rim. It does not demand anything from the cup. It only warms. Let that warmth be the image of grace touching the chest. Stay with the image for 4 slow breaths. Notice what softens. Grace is never abrupt. It is patient. It arrives again and again, often in small gestures. A neighbor leaving soup by the door. A friend listening without asking for proof. A letter with 4 simple sentences that do not explain but simply say, I remember you. These are the quiet carriers of grace. Tonight, grant yourself the humility to accept them. There is also a gentle discipline tied to grace. It is the practice of returning favor without calculation. It is not a heavy obligation. It is a simple habit of meeting kindness with kindness, of answering small trust with small trust. Think of it as planting a kind answer, like placing a stone on a path. Or team. The stones make a way. The habit takes little energy at first. It grows stronger with each soft step. I read a short verse that lingers on the image of a table spread at dusk. The table is modest. Candles are low. Plates are simple. Yet the welcome is full. People arrive as they are. No one rehearses a speech. No one lists credentials. The gathering simply exists. This is a picture of grace made visible, ordinary things turned hospitable. It is an invitation to belong that requires nothing but presence. Sometimes grace feels like a second breath. When panic tightens the throat, grace is the tiny permission to breathe again. Imagine a small bell rung in a distant room. It calls attention, but does not hurry. You answer by letting the shoulders fall. The bell rings a second time, and the shoulders drop a little more. The sound asks nothing of you, except to notice. Receiving grace can also mean allowing help that does not solve everything. Offerings sometimes look small compared to the burden. A hot drink does not remove a long sorrow. A note cannot reframe years of difficult memory. Yet the accumulation of small comforts softens an edge here and there, overnights. The effect is like steady rain loosening packed soil. Roots can reach again. I remember reading a story once about someone who was offered a single seed by a stranger after a long winter. The seed was humble. It did not promise a harvest. The person accepted it, planted it, and tended it with slow attention. The plant grew not quickly. but persistently. In time it bore fruit. The story is quiet. It shows that grace often starts as a seed. Patience and simple care are required. There is a shadow side to grace. Sometimes pride resists it. Sometimes fear doubts whether one deserves it. I do not push these concerns away. I notice them like clouds passing. The clouds do not need to be argued with. Let them drift. Grace moves behind them still. Notice the motion. Allow the small thought it is okay to take what is offered. Tonight I invite a short act of giving. It need not involve movement. Keep the hand where it rests, or place it on the lap. Think of one soft word or small image you can offer to someone who needs it. Send that thought gently forward. Do not wait for permission. The offering may be as simple as sending peace. This act does two things. It loosens the hold of bitterness in the chest, and it extends warmth outward. Both are small forms of grace. I read a passage that uses the sea as a picture of abundance. The sea does not count each drop. It simply is vast. Grace, in that sense, is not stingy. It spreads without accounting. To imagine the sea at night is to remember that plenty can be quiet. Plenty does not boast. It simply is there. Ready? There are nights when doubt rises. It asks whether grace will last until morning. It worries that acceptance tonight will be taken away by the morning's demands. Answer such doubt with a steady practice. Choose one phrase to repeat in the hush. Keep it soft. Let it move like a pebble dropped into a calm pond. The phrase can be as simple as "let this be enough." Repeat it slowly. Let the sound work like a slow tide. Receiving grace sometimes requires saying yes aloud to small things. If it feels safe, put a hand out to another tonight. Send a short message that requires no proof. Say nothing complicated. A single line of care can hold a surprising weight. If doing so is not possible, then imagine the hand extended anyway. The imagination can be a rehearsal for real giving. Grace also calls for honest reflection. Look back at the day in a way that does not pry open old wounds. Ask what small kindnesses were noticed. Ask where the body was tender. Notice what was born with surprising strength. These observations are small praises. They do not demand perfection. They simply acknowledge what was carried. As I continue to read, the voice grows softer. The pages breathe under my thumb. I speak about grace without urging conversion or change. The aim is comfort. The words should be like a shawl. They should not be a list. Tonight is not for proving. It is for resting. I slow the reading further. Each sentence has space to land. The room holds the sound. The light drops another notch. If sleep comes, let these images follow like steady companions. If wakefulness remains, hold the breath and the picture of morning light on the cup. Let the rhythm be slow and kind. I fold the corner of the page and close the Bible with careful hands. The cover makes a soft sound. The closing is intentional. It marks a gentle promise. I will return with these same pages and this same low voice. We will continue to explore what keeps the heart steady. Place a hand where it asks to rest. Feel the pulse beneath. Imagine grace as a hand laid there, cool and steady. It does not demand answers. It offers presence. Let the body accept. One more breath. Long and slow. Feel the shoulders release by a fraction. Allow the jaw to loosen. The lamp's circle grows dimmer. The room sits with the hush that follows reading. Grace rests with us tonight. Sleep into that company. I will meet you again in the quiet, and we will read together some more. Good night. I recall a story as I lift the lamp and settle the book. The story is quiet in its telling. It moves like a well-worn path. I read it to you now. Slow and steady. Not to teach, but to rest beside. A young person leaves home. The road is long. Dust rises with each step. The sky is wide and bright. Money does not keep care away. Pleasure is not a cure. The world proves thinner than was promised. Hunger comes. Choices look smaller in a distant field. Work is hard and lonely. The heart feels like an emptied bag. At a low point, the young one remembers home. The image of a familiar door comes back. The memory carries the warmth of a cooking fire. Pride and fear sit heavy in the chest. The plan to return is small and careful. It is not an entrance cocky with demands. It is a slow apology stitched of plain words. The plan is to say sorry and to ask for a servant's place. The goal is safety. The hope is for a roof. On the road back, the gait is uneven. Each step presses memory into the dirt. The past opens like a pocket. Regrets spill out. One by one, yet the wind moves around the shoulders. The skin feels the sun and the rain. Nothing is neat. The return is messy and human. From the house. A figure watches. The figure is sometimes described in ways that surprise. The stance is not stern. The eyes look into the distance. When the returning shape becomes clear, the steps quicken. Not because of pride, but because of joy. The embrace that follows is plain and immediate. No list of conditions appears. The welcome is an opening. A robe is put around the shoulders. A ring rests on a finger. Bread is broken. A feast begins. Music fills the place. The celebration is not about punishment removed. It is about belonging restored. The household breathes again because one life has come home. There is another who stays near the door. The one who remained tends fields and watches the hours. This person knows the cost of steady work and faithful waiting. When the feast begins, Agid resentment rises. The faithful one asks, why joy seems given where toil was constant? This question is tender and real. The answer that comes is not a scolding. It is a reminder that the house is always open. What has been constant is presence, not merit. I read the story without speeding it up. Each image lands and waits. The road, the dust, the small, rehearsed apology, the sudden embrace, the table, the one who stays, the gentle answer. These pictures are soft teaching more than doctrine. They show something simple. Welcome sometimes precedes worthiness. Mercy can come without ledger. Listen with closed eyes if that feels safe. Place a hand on the chest. Feel that quiet thump. Let the pulse be the metronome of the story. With each beat, picture on step toward home. Walk as slowly as needed. No hurry. The path does not demand speed. Breath becomes the feet. In on the step. Out on the step. The rhythm steadies. For those who carry the weight of choices, imagine the return, not as a tidy fix, rather as an arrival into a room that already remembers your name. Picture the touch of fabric on the shoulders. Picture the warmth of bread. Let the image be small and possible. Do not force a theatrical change. Allow a single soft, shift the shoulders lower, a fraction. Muscles that held shame unhook for a moment. For those who have waited faithfully, picture the other side of the story. Imagine tending the fields. Imagine the measured work of sowing and harvest. Feel the quiet pride that grows in steady hands. Now imagine hearing music from the house. Allow a moment to name the tightness that may come. Call it by a gentle word. Do not judge it harshly. Then, picture the one who stands at the gate and hears the question. The answer is simple. Everything here is yours. The line says that presence and belonging do not vanish when celebration comes. This thought softens stubborn edges. The tale asks both kinds of hearts to rest. The restless one rests into welcome. The waiting one rests into assurance. Both learn that belonging is not a reward for perfect ledger-keeping. It is a space where flaws can be held and still be met with kindness. Now breathe slowly with me. Inhale 4 counts. Hold 2. Exhale 6. Make the pattern gentle. With each out-breath, let some tightness slide. Picture that tightness as a pebble. Drop it into a shallow stream. Watch the rings move outward. The movement does not remove the pebble from memory. It changes how the pebble sits in your hand. It becomes less of a burden to hold. The story also keeps its small ironies. The one who ran toward home gives without a demand. The one who stayed wonders at that giving. Both actions are true. Both hearts need soothing. Mercy is not used to shame either side. It softens. It binds. If a name rises that belongs to a hard memory, let it come. Place the name on a soft breath. Let it stay there without pushing. Imagine setting that name on a table at the center of the room where the feast is being prepared. Leave it there. The table can hold many things. Your sorrow does not have to be hidden. It can rest where light reaches it. Imagine, too, the household as a wide circle. Every seat is not yet claimed. There is room near the fire. The lamp warms a space at the edge. You may step in, or you may sit by the door for a time. Either choice is welcome. The story does not demand a posture. It only offers a place. Another gentle practice is to fold an imaginary letter. On it, write one small truth. It need not be eloquent. The letter might simply say, "I am coming home in the morning." Fold the sheet without sealing it. Slide it into a pocket only you can reach. The action is a tiny vow. It does not bind with heavy chains. It loosens the jaw. As the lamp circle narrows, consider what belonging asks of the body. Sometimes it asks only to be quiet. Sometimes it asks to offer a small kindness to another who lingers in the dark. Both are forms of care. Both are ways mercy travels. I keep the voice low. Each sentence allows a pause. The story is not an argument. It is a mirror held up slowly. See what you see. Notice if the face reflected surprises you. Meet it kindly. The reflection may be weary. It may be proud. Both are human colors. Both get room in the tale. The story of return and welcome is not a prescription for instant change. It is a picture of what mercy can look like. It is a small map for nights that feel heavy. The map points to a door. It shows lights on a table. It describes a hand that meets another hand with neither a balance sheet nor a badge. That meeting is enough for rest. If sleep arrives while this image lingers, let it take the form of the house. Walk its rooms slowly in the mind. Touch the table. Sit in the corner chair. Feel warmth on the knees. Let the imagination fold these small comforts into the body's memory. If wakefulness stays, return to the breathing practice. Let each inhalation gather courage. Let each exhalation offer some letting go. I rest my thumb on the page. The paper is soft from turning. The story sits quiet. It keeps company with all the other pictures we have touched these night's waters. Lamps. The slow field. The bowl of water. Each image is a gentle tool. Each one helps the mind make a softer space. Tonight, the tale leaves a clear invitation. Come home in small ways. Offer welcome in small ways. Accept what is given, even when it feels undeserved. Let rest be the first step of repair. Mercy will do the rest. Often more slowly than the mind wishes, but steadier than frantic effort. I close the cover with care. The sound is barely there. The lamp flickers once and steadies. The room breathes with us. I promise to bring another portion of this gentle telling tomorrow. For now, allow the image of a warm door to sit at the edge of the mind. Let it be a faint magnet for the heart. One slow breath more. Sense the steady beat beneath the hand. Feel how the chest softens. The night holds these stories like a quiet harbor. Sleep toward it. I will sit with the lamp again, and we will read together in the same slow voice. Rest now. Good night. I lift the lamp and settle the Bible on my lap. The light is steady. It makes a small circle on the page. My thumb finds the place where an old story rests. I do not rush. I let the words sit like stones in a slow stream. Tonight I think of a man whose debt was forgiven in full. The image is plain and surprising. The debt is large. It would crush most lives, yet the debt is cancelled. The one who forgives does not count the cost. The release is complete. The relief is like removing a heavy cloak. I read the scene in my mind. A ruler who looks up and sees a single person, bowed. The ruler does not demand a record of merits. The ruler removes the burden at once. The forgiven person walks away light. The air seems different for him. He breathes in a measure of freedom he has not known in a long while. Then that same person meets another who owes a far smaller sum. The forgiven one remembers the release he received, but something in him is brittle. He keeps the ledger even after the burden is removed. He presses for repayment. The action is small. The wound it makes is quiet, but real. The other person falls into a place of humiliation. Pain follows. When the ruler learns this, the response is gentle and firm. The forgiveness that was given is not to be kept as a private treasure. It is meant to spread. The ruler takes back the mercy from the one who refuses to extend it. The lesson lands like a quiet warning. The choice to hold forgiveness tight turns the original freedom into a new captivity. I read these images slowly. I let each one rest in the chest. The story is not an argument. It is a mirror. It asks a soft question. How does one carry mercy once it has been received? I imagine the forgiven man with his hands empty. He has a chance to walk into a new life. Instead, he fills his hands with a small stone, the memory of being wronged in a petty way. The stone is heavy for what it is. It does not make sense. And yet it presses. We all know that kind of stone. It can be an old slight. It can be a kept list of small betrayals. It can be a memory used to justify anger. The stone fits easily in a pocket or a team. The pocket becomes a burden. If the lamp is small enough, an entire life can be read in its glow. I see the moments when mercy came like rain. I also see the times when mercy was held as currency. The scenes overlap. They live together. Forgiveness, when it is lived, is less a dramatic gesture than a dozen small refusals to feed a grudge. It looks like choosing a soft answer instead of a sharp one. It looks like staying calm when the first instinct is to accuse. It looks like offering a hand and not keeping the list of reasons why one should not. I lower my voice. The room is a quiet container. Breathe with me. In, hold, out. Let the rhythm slow the reflex to justify anger. The breath makes room for a different response. Unconditional love arrives like a light that does not ask for a match. It shines without conditions. It does not wait for the debtor to become more worthy. It does not demand that the forgiven one perform better next time. The grace is simply given. That kind of love is hard to hold without softening at the edges. Consider a small garden after a harsh winter. Some shoots are broken. Some soil is moved. Yet a gardener comes and waters without ceremony. The gardener does not lecture the plants about their past performance. The gardener waters. The plants that can respond to care do. The rest are left in tenderness. The act of watering is not earned. It is given. When mercy is withheld after being received, the result is a tightness that looks like righteousness. The tightness convinces itself it is protecting something noble. In truth, it often protects a fragile pride. Pride loves to count. Grace refuses the count. Relationships ask for a kind of courage that begins small. It starts with a choice not to return a sharp word. It continues as a steady pattern of small kind acts. Or a team. The pattern teaches new muscles. The heart learns a new posture. I invite a short practice. Place both hands on the chest. Breathe slowly. On the in-breath, imagine the space inside the ribs expanding enough to include both the wound and the wound-bearer. On the out-breath, imagine letting go of the need to be right in every memory. Do this for 4 breaths. The practice is simple. It is not instant magic. It changes the tone of the night. Unconditional love often looks like staying. It looks like returning even when hurt is present. The one who forgives does not erase the hurt. The one who forgives bears it differently. The burden is shared rather than used as a weapon. That difference is small and powerful. I think of a table where 2 people sit. They do not speak about the ledger. They pass a simple dish across the table. The act of passing is a quiet mercy. It does not annul wrongs, but it opens a new channel. A meal can do that. A short note of concern can do that. A willingness to listen can do that. These are not grand things. They are gentle. They are steady. Sometimes, forgiving another means acknowledging that the hurt remains. It does not demand immediate reconciliation. It allows for space. Forgiveness can be a seed planted in patience. It may take time to grow. The seed only needs consistent water. The water is small acts of trust extended toward the one who caused harm. If a person is not ready to forgive, that is okay. Do not force the heart. Mercy must not be faked. A pressed or hurried forgiveness can become brittle. The aim is not performance. The aim is small, honest steps. Even saying inwardly that one wishes for release is progress. The heart needs permission for its pace. I read again the image of the ruler who forgives all without ledger. The ruler's action is both model and mystery. It shows that mercy is not an earned reward. It is a gift. We carry the gift by passing it on. Keeping it as evidence of personal merit misses the point. Mercy transforms only when it moves. There are nights when an old injury wakes the chest. It may be a voice from long ago, or an action that left a mark. In those hours, a quiet question helps. What small step toward mercy can be taken right now? The step might be as tiny as a breath dedicated to wishing another less harm. The step might be an imagined hand placed gently on a shoulder. The step might be a refusal of a sharp reply. Each step trains the heart. I imagine now a small harbor. Boats come in after storms. The harbor does not ask what the sailors did wrong. It offers shelter. The sailors may be messy. The wood may be cracked. The harbor still receives. It serves as a gentle model. The presence of the harbor reminds the weary that safety can be immediate and generous. In relationships, the harbor is a posture of readiness to forgive. It is not a naive confidence that harm will vanish. It is a prepared place. It is a willingness to welcome, even after warning signs. It does not require full trust. It requires presence. I urge a short practice of naming. Think of one small offense that tilts the chest. Speak the name quietly in the mind. Then imagine laying the name on a small dish at the center of a table. The table is set with simple bread and a lamp. Notice the act of placing the name down. It does not mean forgetting. It means setting it down where light reaches it. Let that image rest for a few breaths. Mercy and unconditional love do not erase justice. They change the terms by which justice is carried. They make room for restoration, where possible. They refuse the cycle of revenge, where it serves no life. This is not a denial of harm. It is a reorientation of power away from scoring points and toward healing. If sleep is near, let these images follow like gentle companions. If wakefulness lingers, repeat a short phrase in the mind. Keep it soft. Let it act like a slow tide. A phrase might be, "Mercy moves me." Say it 3 times with the breath. Let the sound sink into the shoulders. I close the Bible slowly, The cover makes a small sound. The lamp is still warm on my hand. The room holds this hush. Tonight's reading is a quiet invitation. Live the mercy you receive in small acts. Let unconditional love be the harbor you practice. One more breath together. In through the nose. Hold. Out long and soft. Feel the chest soften a little. The night keeps watch. The lamp dims another fraction. I will sit with these pages again. We will read more slow stories that teach the body how to rest. Rest now into the company of mercy. Good night. I lift the lamp and feel the small warmth on my palm. The Bible rests on my knees. The page is soft. My voice stays low. Tonight we speak about releasing burdens. The word feels like a key. It opens a space that wants to breathe. Breathe with me once. Inhale slowly. Hold for a moment. Exhale and let a small weight fall away. Do that 2 more times. Each breath is gentle. Each exhale loosens a strap. I read a passage that invites leaving cares in another's hands. The language is plain. It asks for trust more than explanation. I do not press you to perform. I only invite a practice. Imagine a pack on your back. It is real in its heaviness. Straps bite the shoulders. The pack contains stones. Some are sharp. Some are smooth. Names and small images crowd the stones. They are old and new. They press into the ribs. Now picture a low bridge over a slow river. The air near the water tastes cool. The bridge does not require hurry. Walk to its middle. Feel the wood underfoot. Pause. Place both hands on the straps. Unhook one strap with care. Unloop the buckle. Do not force anything. Let the pack tip forward a fraction. So the top opens. Name the first stone quietly. It might be a worry about tomorrow. It might be a shame that keeps returning. It might be a tiredness that won't leave. Say the name in the mind. Do not narrate it. Do not explain. Hold it like a small coin in the palm. Offer the coin to the hand you imagine beside you. Picture the hand as steady. It does not count the cost. It simply accepts. Let go. Watch the stone fall into the river. See the ripple. The water does not erase memory. It changes the place. Memory occupies. The stone is carried. The shoulders lighten. Repeat with another stone. Move slowly. Make no demands on speed. Each drop is a small act. Each drop weakens the hold of the pack. The back straightens by a fraction. The breath lengthens. Sometimes a stone refuses to move. It clings like wet clay. That is okay. Do not force release. Put that stone on the rail beside you. Name it once. Leave it there for the night. The bridge will still be there tomorrow. The river keeps flowing. If placing stones in the river feels distant, imagine a table at home. Lay each burden on the table, as if placing a folded cloth. A lamp hangs above. The light steadies each object. Offer the cloth to the light. Let the warmth change the fabric. The table does not judge. It simply holds. I read another short passage that pictures hands, meeting hands across a small meal. The idea is simple burdens are not meant to be carried alone. When one hand gives, another receives. Imagine someone at the other side of the bridge. They do not make demands. They take what you offer. They do not add a ledger. Their taking is itself mercy. Practice now with the breath. Place a hand over the heart. Breathe in for 3 counts. Hold 1. Breathe out for 4. With each out-breath, imagine a strap loosening. The rhythm is steady. The chest becomes a kinder space. This releasing is not erasing responsibility. It does not make problems vanish magically. It changes how they sit in the body. A named burden becomes movable. A named sorrow becomes a thing that can be set down. The act of placing it down transfers energy. The mind can rest enough to sleep. Part of letting go is accepting help. Pride tightens the fingers around stones. It whispers that keeping the pack proves strength. Tonight, try loosening the fingers on purpose. Practice the small humility of allowing relief. Humility is not self-abasement. It is the courage to receive what is offered. If the mind darkens with worry about whether release is allowed, recall a quiet promise you have heard in the scriptures. Paraphrase it. Inland of your thinking care can be given away. You are not asked to do the holding alone. Let that thought be a gentle rule of the night. Repeat it softly when anxiety rises. There is a simple ritual you can make your own. Find a small bowl. Before sleep, collect 3 things that represent the day's burdens. A pebble, a scrap of paper with a single word, agoin. Place them into the bowl. Cover the bowl with a cloth. Leave it by the bedside. In the morning, lift the cloth and look at the objects. Bless them with a wish. May these grow light. Over days, the bowl becomes a map of what shifts and what remains. Sometimes releasing burdens means changing where they rest, rather than making them leave entirely. Think of a child who brings a scraped knee to a parent. The parent does not make the scrape disappear instantly. The parent cleans it, covers it, and watches as the child sleeps. The wound still exists, but it is held in a safe place. Allow your pains to be tended in this quiet way. You do not have to resolve every sorrow before nightfall. Communal care helps. Imagine others scattered along that bridge. Some carry heavy bugs. Some carry none tonight. Send a quiet thought. May one who bears more find a hand. This silent offering does not require action. It changes the heart. Mercy travels when attention shifts outward, even in small ways. If memory presses, use a brief naming practice. Choose one short phrase you will repeat on the out-breath. Keep it stripped of rhetoric. A line such as "Let this be held." Say it softly. Let the sound be a small anchor. Repeat it until the jaw unclenches. The repetition does not numb feeling. It creates a rhythm that loosens the grip of urgent thought. There will be times when the pack feels suddenly light and then returns heavier than before. That is part of the work. Release is rarely a single event. It is a habit. It is a slow retraining of the hands. Be patient with the pace. Patience is not passive. It is an intentional waiting with the confidence that steady small acts change the body's reflexes. I read an image of a garden where people lay stones at the base of a tree. Each stone marks a burden given up. The tree does not judge the stones. It simply grows. over seasons. The pile becomes a bed of memory that supports new roots. The tree gains depth where the soil was once compacted. Think of your own burdens as stones set in good soil. The placing matters. The soil matters. Time changes both. It helps to name a single burden to set down before sleep. Pick one that is most present in the chest. Carry out the small ceremony. Walk to the bridge. Set the stone in the water. Or place it on the bedside table. Do not expect immediate relief. Expect a slight easing. Let that ease be the invitation to try again tomorrow. Forgiveness sometimes belongs in this practice, but do not force it. If resentment clings to a stone, you may not be ready to let it go. You can still set it on the rail. You can still hand a gentle wish across to the one who caused the hurt. May you know less harm. This wish does not excuse the hurt. It opens a different posture in your chest. If the night brings guilt that will not sleep, try a small confession inward. Say 2 words to the quiet, I am sorry. Do not elaborate. Let the admission be brief. Then imagine handing the feeling across the bridge. Keep the action small and repeatable. Small confessions keep the heart limber. They stop the mind from long, sharp rehearsals of misdeed. Remember that mercy is not an economy of points. The mercy you receive is not a currency to hoard. It is a wind that moves best, when anything it touches is free to go. When a kindness is given, release the need to keep proof. Pass it on in tiny ways. An unanswered kindness is still kindness. The practice of passing it on trains the hands to let go. End the ritual by resting both hands on the Bible for a moment. Feel the weight of the cover. Feel the book as companion. Speak one intention aloud. If you like tonight, I will set down what I can. No long speeches. A single short sentence. Let it be enough. Close the book with deliberate gentleness. The sound is soft. The lamp burns low. Sit in silence for a few breaths. Notice the place where the shoulders meet the neck. See if something has softened there. If sleep comes, allow these images to follow like folded cloth. If wakefulness remains, return to the bridge, the bowl, the table. Repeat the small acts. I promise to come back with another quiet hour. We will practice small things together. For now, leave the pack where it sits if it must remain. Tend one stone to the river. Let the river do the rest it can. Mercy meets the act of handing over. Hope follows gentle practice. One slow breath more. Inhale. Hold. Exhale long. Feel how the chest eases by a fraction. The night keeps watch. The lamp dims. Rest into this company. Good night. I lift the lamp and feel its small warmth on my wrist. The Bible rests in my lap. My thumb stays at a place I have opened before. Tonight the pages speak of an invitation. The invitation reaches across worry and weariness. It asks the tired to come and find rest. I do not recite a verse from memory. I say it in my own way. Jesus invites those who are burdened to step into rest. The words are simple and direct. They do not push. They offer an open hand. Breathe with me once. In, hold briefly. Out. The breath becomes a slow metronome. It sets the pace of the room. The lamp makes a small circle. The Bible is a steady weight. We meet in that light. Hope is what comes next. It is not loud. It does not promise sudden fixes. Hope arrives like the first pale seam of dawn. It widens slowly. It changes the color of small things. A thread of possibility is enough to begin. Picture a pair of bare feet on a cool floor. The feet step forward, then stop. They stand near a low stool. On the stool, a soft cloth waits. The cloth is not a demand. It is an offering. It asks only that the feet be uncovered and set down. Imagine taking off a heavy sandal. Feel the small relief when the foot is freed. Now imagine setting something down at those feet. A stone. Perhaps a folded scrap of paper. A small coin. Name one thing in the mind without speeches. Let the single word be quiet. Place it on the cloth in imagination. The act is small and decisive. It does not solve everything. It begins a different posture. Hope grows in that little space. It is not a blinding light. It is a patient glow. It moves into tired places. It sits like a friend beside a bed of pain. It does not rush the healing. It stays. The staying is itself a promise. I speak softly as I guide this. The voice is low. Sentences are spare. The aim is calm. The room breathes with us. If sleep feels near, allow the images to go with you. If your mind keeps walking, return to one small image and stay there. There is a practice I offer. Close the eyes if that feels safe. Place a hand where the chest rises. Breathe slowly. On the in-breath, feel a warm presence near the feet, imagined on the floor. On the out-breath, lay down one burden on the cloth. Repeat this 3 times. Each laying down is a small promise kept to yourself. Hope does not insist that scars vanish. It recognizes the marks left by hard days. It asks that those marks be seen and touched with gentleness. Imagine a gardener who tends a wounded plant. The gardener does not demand the plant perform. The gardener waters. The gardener trims. The plant responds in its own time. Hope learns the gardener's patience. Tonight the Bible I hold shows many images like this. It does not lecture. It offers pictures. A lamp on a table. A shore where waves come and go. A voice that calls the tired by name. Each image is quiet and steady. The weight of the page feels like a familiar hand. There is a gentle truth here. Laying burdens down does not mean forgetting them. It means changing the way they live in the body. A named sorrow becomes movable. An owned anxiety becomes an object rather than an identity. The soul gets room to breathe. Consider a seed in the palm of your hand. It is small and ordinary. We plant it in good soil and cover it tenderly. The ground does not promise an overnight tree. It only promises a place. The seed is patient. Hope tends the seed. Over seasons, roots reach where once the soil was cramped. In time, a shoot may rise. Let that image settle. Hope often shows itself as persistence, not speed. Small repeated acts matter more than one great effort. Saying yes to rest tonight is one such act. It might look like closing the eyes, breathing, slow, and allowing the chest to drop. It might look like setting a worry by the bedside and promising to revisit it at dawn. We are readers of these pages together. My voice belongs to the book and to the hush around us. There is a softness in turning the paper. The small sounds fill the quiet in a way that comforts rather than disturbs. The practice of reading aloud becomes a way of keeping vigil for hope. Mercy walks with hope. Mercy is the hand that receives what we lay down. It takes the small stones, the folded papers, the coins of worry, and it keeps them with care. Mercy does not tally what is given. It simply holds. The knowing that mercy keeps what we cannot bear tonight loosens a tight jaw. Imagine a table with a lamp in the center. Around it, a few chairs wait. Each chair holds a person who has come with a small wound. No one must explain. No one is asked to defend. The meal is simple. The company's steady. That picture is hope made communal. It reminds us that rest is not only private, it can be shared. There will be nights when hope feels distant. It may hide beneath layers of fear. That is expected. Tenderness toward this resistance helps. Speak to it kindly. Name the fear once. Tell it that the night will hold it safely for now. Allow the mind to place it on the cloth beside the feet. The naming does not vanish the fear. It moves it from a clenched fist to a soft place. I invite a short phrase to carry into sleep if you wish. Choose one line that sits easy. It should be plain, something like, "Come and rest." Say it slowly in the mind with the out-breath. Let it become an anchor. Repeat it until the body follows the sound. Hope and trust grow with rhythm. A steady breath, a repeated phrase, a gentle imagining. These small rituals train the nervous system to recognize safety. They do not guarantee tomorrow's ease. They increase the chance of waking with a lighter step. I remind you that waking is part of the hope. Morning does not remove the need for courage. It often calls for a new kind of steadiness. But the night's rest is a foundational practice. It supplies the quiet reserves a day may ask for. Sleep is not an escape. It is preparation. If the heart needs to speak to someone, dusu tomorrow, tonight we rest. If you keep company with a memory that hurts, tuck it into the fold of the cloth. Leave it there for the one who keeps the lamp. The act is symbolic and sincere. It changes the way the memory sits in the chest. I fold the page of the Bible with care. The book stays warm from the lamp. The words I have read settle like light on a pond. Hope is a ripple that moves outward in small measures. You do not have to fix the whole shore tonight. A single ripple is enough. The promise of the invitation I have spoken of is not a magic trick. It is an invitation into a posture. Come, and rest means come as you are. Bring your doubts. Bring your tiny faith. Bring the small. Yes, you can offer. The posture itself becomes the beginning of a new way to live. Before I close, breathe with me one last time. Inhale deeply and slowly. Hold for a soft beat. Exhale long and even. As the breath leaves, imagine setting one more burden at the feet of the gentle presence pictured tonight. Let go of a small part of the load. let the shoulders relax by a fraction. I close the Bible softly. The cover makes a quiet sound that is almost like an exhale. The lamp dims a little. The room keeps the hush. I promise to come back with the same low voice. We will return to these pages and these images. We will practice small steps of faith and rest. Tonight, accept the invitation. Lay down what you can. Keep hope for the traces you cannot release yet. Trust the steady presence that asks nothing and offers everything. Sleep into that company. I will sit with the lamp again and read for you. Good night. I lift the Bible and let the lamp sit quietly beside me. The room is still. My voice is low. Tonight we enter a short prayer. We do this slowly. We do this gently. Breathe with me for a moment. Inhale, soft and full. Hold briefly. Exhale and let the chest loosen. Repeat once more. Each breath slows the heart. Each breath makes room. I place a hand on the book. The paper is warm. I do not rush the words. I do not make long arguments. I simply speak what the heart needs to say. Prayer here is small and true. It is a way of placing what we carry into a larger, kinder space. I begin with thanks. I name small gifts. A lamp that stays on during the night. A blanket that folds around the shoulders. A person whose kindness came today. A single warm cup. A breath that keeps repeating. I say these aloud in my mind. And I invite you to hear them with me. Gratitude is not a long list tonight. It is one soft noticing at a time. Now I offer a quiet confession. No long recitation. No sharp guilt. Just two small truths. I am tired. I am not whole. Saying them does not remove responsibility. It opens the chest. It lays out the ache so something steadier can meet it. If you prefer to keep the admission inward, simply hold it gently on the next out-breath. I read a verse that lingers with me. It says that God is a source of hope. The phrase sits like a cool hand on a fevered brow. I recall that promise not to prove a point, but to steady a mind. Hope is not a grand show. It is a quiet resource that can be asked for. Tonight I ask that hope be near. I ask that it breathe into small places. We move into petition with soft words. I name a few needs. For the one who worries about tomorrow, I ask for calm. For the one who carries a fresh wound, I ask for a tender ease. For the lonely, I ask a near companion in the night. For those who cannot sleep because the heart is loud, I ask a softening. These requests are not shouted. They are placed like small stones on a table where light reaches them. I invite a short pause. In the pause, hold whatever is heaviest. Name it once in your mind. Then breathe out and imagine laying it on the page of the book in my lap. The book does not judge. It simply holds what is placed upon it. I speak now for mercy. Mercy is not a distant idea. It is a practical thing. It looks like forgiveness that lets a wound close. It looks like hands that steady shaking ones. It looks like a quiet entrance into a day that felt impossible. I ask that mercy meet each small, failing with gentleness. I do not demand miracles. I ask only for a balm that makes sleep kinder. We lift up those who suffer in hidden ways. Illness that does not rest, grief that keeps a midnight watch, anxiety that tightens the throat. I name them softly. I imagine a gentle light moving along each body and loosening tension. I pray for relief that is simple, less pain tonight. More ease tomorrow. The requests are modest. They are repeatable. They are true. Now, for hope again. Gentle and steady. I remember the verse about being filled with hope. It pictures a kind of steady joy that rests in trust. I ask for that filling in small measures, not to erase sorrow, not to pretend everything is fine, but to give a quiet reason to breathe when fear stirs. Hope here is a hand, not a lecture. It holds and waits. I add a prayer for those who watch over others, caregivers tired from long hours, parents who pace the room, friends who answer at strange times. For each I pray a pause of rest. Let the mind find a moment that is purely theirs. Let the shoulders release for at least one breathing cycle. Little mercies count. I include the world. In the soft way one includes a wide shore. There are places where hunger is sharp. There are corners where conflict makes small rooms dangerous. I do not fix these realities with words. I place them in the same gentle prayer. Let relief come where it can. Let help find hands that will hold it. This is a wide wish, held without urgency, trusted into a larger care. Next, I offer a brief act of surrender. Surrender is not defeat. It is a choice to lay down a load too heavy for the moment. I invite you to imagine a small bundle beside your bed. It contains the urgent things you cannot solve tonight. Name one quietly. Then imagine placing the bundle into an open palm. The palm does not measure it. It keeps watch. Let your shoulders thaw by a fraction as you do this. I guide a short breath prayer to close this time. Breathe in and think steady. Breathe out and think rest. Repeat this for 3 cycles. Each pairing of words and breath builds a soft rhythm. The rhythm trains the body to expect calm. Before I finish, I offer one more simple blessing. May mercy be near. May hope find a small place to rest in the chest. May sleep come with its own quiet repairs. May the wounds that are too fresh for the day be softened by the night. May the one who reads these words awake with a fraction more ease than before. I fold my hands over the book. The motion is intentional. It marks the end of this particular prayer. The lamp casts a last gentle circle. The hush stretches a little longer. In that hush, take a moment to place your hand where your breath feels most alive. Feel the small rise and fall. Let it be a sign that you are kept. Even in tiny measures, I will read again tomorrow night. I will come with the same slow voice and the same steady light. For now, lay down the day. Let the breath continue its steady work. Allow the hope you asked for to touch even one small place in the heart. One last breath together. Inhale. Hold for a soft beat. Exhale and release. The room keeps watch. The Bible rests on my lap. The lamp glows low. Sleep into this quiet. Rest into the mercy and the hope. Good night. I lift the lamp a little and let its small circle widen across the page. The Bible rests warm on my knees. My thumb finds the place I keep returning to. The room settles. I speak less now. The reading slows to a whisper of presence. Tonight I ask only one thing. Allow silence to envelop you. Breathe with me. Inhale slow and quiet. Hold for the smallest pause. Exhale long and easy. Let the breath be the same pace. The lamp keeps in its dim glow. The rhythm is enough. It becomes a gentle signal that the world can be different for a while. Silence here is not empty. It is a soft room where small truths have space to be heard. In that room, God's wisdom sometimes comes as a whisper. It does not shout. It nudges. It touches the edge of a thought and then rests. The invitation is to listen for that touch. I do not promise revelations. I promise presence. The sort of presence that sits near the bedside. The kind that does not demand answers. The kind that keeps a hand on the shoulder when sleep will not come. Imagine that presence as someone who knows how to wait. Picture a chair pulled close by the lamp. The chair is empty only in form. In the hush, someone keeps watch. Now let the body do its small work. Scan slowly from the top of the head down. Notice the forehead. Feel whether the eyebrows have tightened. Let them soften. Move attention to the jaw. Unclench it if it holds. Feel the neck. Let shoulders drop a fraction. Keep scanning. Let each place you notice get a permission to rest. This is not a task. It is a gentle allowance. As you breathe, notice what thought surfaces first. Name it simply inside. No argument. No rehearsal. A single word will do. Call it worry. Call it thankfulness. Call it a name. The act of naming loosens the grip. A named thought can be held in silence. It does not need to be solved now. I listen as well. My voice is a steady companion in the dark. I do not rush explanations. I pause so moments can widen. In the pauses, you can hear the small voice of wisdom. It might sound like an encouragement. It might sound like a suggestion. It often feels like a small nudge toward mercy. Try this short practice of listening. Sit or lie with the lamp low. Breathe 2 slow rounds. On the third in-breath, picture a single question and hold it gently without forcing an answer. Ask, where did I see kindness today? Or, what needs a soft touch tomorrow? Or, who needs a small word from me? Keep the question light. Then hold still and give the silence a minute. Let thoughts drift by like evening moths. Do not swat. Watch which moth returns. Sometimes the whisper comes as a memory, a small moment of grace that you almost missed. It could be a stranger's courtesy, a neighbor's small help, a hand held in a doorway. Let that memory rest in the chest. Give thanks quietly. Gratitude in silence changes the shape of the night. Other whispers are invitations to forgive. They are often tender and brief. They may ask only for a tiny action to breathe and let the tightness go, to send a silent blessing to someone who hurt you, to set a small resentment down on a figurative table. Do not force full forgiveness. Allow a seed of it to be planted tonight. Small seeds grow into patience. Listen too for wisdom about work and worry. The hush can show where energy drains and where it can be redirected. A whisper might say, "Do less in the morning." Or it might ask, "Protect 1 quiet hour for restoration." These are practical nudges. They tend to be ordinary. They feel possible. They ease long-term strain when followed slowly. I guide another short stillness. Now, breathe in and imagine a pale, steady light resting at the center of your chest. On the out-breath, imagine that light reaching any place of fear or tension and warming it. Do this for 4 breaths. The image is small. It asks no drama. It moves the body toward tenderness. Silence can be a mirror. In that mirror, clarities sometimes appear. A gentle question might rise. Where was I generous today? Or where did I tighten? Instead, let such questions be simple tools, not knives. They shine a soft light on choices without demanding immediate correction. If sorrow wakes, give it an honored place in the silence. Sorrow is not an enemy of rest. It is a companion that sometimes needs to be named. Invite sorrow to sit by the lamp. Acknowledge its presence. Offer it a measure of your attention for a short while, then hand it gently to the quiet you are making. This handing is not dismissal. It is a small practice of trust. The whispers of God's wisdom often arrive in images more than in doctrines. A memory returns of a table with 1 extra chair. A small cup of tea appears in the mind. A soothing phrase without words holds the edges of worry. These images teach a tenderness of heart. They teach how to rest. I do not insist on a prayer form. If it helps, breathe with a short phrase in the mind. Make it simple. Something like, "Be still," or "Mercy rests here." Attach the phrase to the out-breath. Let it repeat without effort. If the mind wanders, return gently to the phrase. The repetition is a soft bell that calls attention home. Notice the space between thoughts, not between stories or worries, but the actual silent breath between one mental line and the next. That gap is where whispering wisdom often lives. Make room for it by stretching the pause between in and out a little. The nervous system learns the new timing. The heart settles. If a particular decision presses, bring it forward and place it in the silence, like a small object on the table. Look at it without rush. Trust that the best first step tonight might be only clarity, not a full solution. Ask for the next small step rather than the whole map. Wisdom often gives 1 pebble at a time. I keep the lamp close. The Bible lies open but quiet. The pages collect the slow sound of turning only when needed. In the hush, the sense of being accompanied deepens. This companionship is a gentle promise. It does not erase night fears. It reframes them so they are less lonely. Sometimes the wisdom is about mercy toward yourself. The whisper may say you did enough today, or rest is not idleness. Let such words land without immediate judgment. Allow them to cushion the edges of the self-critique that tends to sharpen after dark. Mercy begins with small reproofs of harshness. If sleep hovers at the edge of consciousness, allow the silence to carry the images gently into dream. If wakefulness remains, Return to one image from this hour and explore it slowly. A single repeated gesture, like holding a warm cup in the mind, can become an anchor through the night. There is also a practice of listening for affections. Affections are the heart's gentle pulls toward what is true and good. In the hush, notice which affections feel alive. Does love for a person feel tender? Does gratitude for a small gift glow? Does a desire to act kindly warm? These are compass points. They need small attention, not loud planning. I will sit a little while in this hush, with the lamp dimmed further. I do not count the minutes. I allow silence to stretch. If a whisper comes, accept it without a duty to record it. If nothing appears, that too is a kind of wisdom. The capacity to be still is itself a gift being nurtured. Before I close this segment, make one small commitment to the night. Choose one small kindness to carry into tomorrow. It might be a short note to someone. It might be a deliberate breath when stress appears. Or it might be permission to stop at a certain hour. Keep the commitment modest. Smallness makes action likely. I close the Bible softly when the lamp's light has thinned. The cover sounds like a small exhale. The room keeps the hush. The silence you have made does not vanish because I close the book. It remains like a candle left burning in another room. You may return to it in the dark hours. You may carry its calm into the waking. One last breath together. Inhale slow, hold the quiet. Exhale long. Let the shoulders drop. Let the eyes close if that feels safe. Let the whispers of wisdom find their small ways into the dreaming. I will return with the lamp and the book when the next evening comes. For now, sleep into the silence you have made. Rest well. Good night. I tell you again tonight, we do not walk alone. I sit with the Bible in my lap, as I always do. The lamp throws a warm circle outside. The night breathes. Inside, a thought rests on the edges of the voice we belong to each other in a way that matters. Know that we are part of a larger community in God's kingdom. Our stories may differ, but the threads meet in unexpected places. Some of us carry fresh wounds. Some carry quiet habits of joy. Some are new to faith. Some have been shaped by a long road. Each life is a different fold of cloth. Together they make a larger covering. I picture a tapestry at the center of a hall. Threads of many colors cross and bind. No single thread claims the whole design. Each one holds where it can. When a tear appears, neighbors stitch near it. The repair does not erase the rip. It makes the cloth stronger where mending happens. That is how community often looks. We live in a time when many voices shout for attention. Community tends to be quieter. It meets at tables, in backyards, at bedside chairs. It shows up with small things, a bowl of soup, a steady phone call, a hand that rests for a moment on a shoulder. These acts do not solve every problem. They keep a person from sinking alone. Tonight, I read slowly from a passage that breathes this same truth. The words in the book do not argue. They simply point toward presence. I let them sit between us. The reading is a small anchor. It reminds that belonging is not only a sentiment, It is a practice. A practice looks like this. People gather in a small room. Voices are low. A child hums and falls asleep on a lap. Someone shares a worry without defending it. The group listens. No one must perform. No one must have answers. The listening itself heals. That is community as medicine. Community also stretches beyond the circle we can see. I keep the habit of naming names before I close the book each night. A list builds over weeks. Family, friends, neighbors, those who are lonely, those who are ill. I read their names into the hush. The act feels like tying a string around them and letting it trail into the room. The string is a promise you are not forgotten. Across distance. Other hands keep similar habits. A person in a city I do not know kneels and breathes for someone near my home. A mother in another country whispers a short prayer for a stranger's child. Those small actions are threads tied by invisible hands. The kingdom's community feels larger than our maps. We are a body with many parts. Some are loud and active. Some rest and hold things inside. Each part matters. The strong one can carry a burden for a time. The quiet one can offer steadiness. When one part aches, the others notice. They press gentle care. The body learns how to move again. I invite you into a small practice that lives in this community life. Choose a night habit that connects you to another soul. It might be a prayer whispered for a neighbor. It might be lighting a candle for someone you have not seen in years. It might be writing a single line to a person who needs to hear that they matter. Keep it small. Make it repeatable. The habit trains the heart to reach beyond its own walls. We also remember those who went before. The Church's community moves across time. The lives of those long gone sit at the table as quiet witnesses. Their stories are not demands. They are company. Sometimes, when sleep feels far, it helps to imagine a long line of hands that have also known sorrow. Their presence is not loud. It is steady. It teaches that endurance can be gentle. Belonging softens the edges of shame when a person feels marked by past mistakes. A community which practices mercy can offer a different language. It does not excuse harm. It refuses to let mistakes be the only thing that defines a life. The community says, in small ways you are held beyond your faults. This is not an easy message to live. It requires patience. It requires repeating the same small mercies over days and years. There is also a practical side. Communities organize care. Meals are scheduled. Visits are made. Tasks are shared. When illness comes, people rotate shifts without fanfare. When grief falls, hands fold laundry and answer phone calls. Practical help carries spiritual weight. It suggests that the world around a wounded person still functions with kind steadiness. Sometimes community is only a quiet witness. A person may sit in the back of a room and say nothing. Their presence matters. It proves that watching without comment can be a form of prayer. This kind of company teaches silence as service. If belonging feels distant, begin with a small step tonight. Take one name into the room of your mind. Pray for that person for 3 breaths. Or hold a photograph for a minute. Or imagine writing a simple note with no expectation of reply. Small motions rewire isolation into connection. They are acts of courage disguised as tiny gestures. Please keep in view that community is imperfect. People wound one another even as they try to heal. Sometimes a group errs and a person is hurt. Mercy does not ignore this. It asks for repair. It calls for humility and honest steps. The community becomes healthier when it admits faults and then practices repair slowly and consistently. I think too of sacred rhythms that bind us. Singing a short song in a room can tether the heart. Passing a shared meal softens defenses. Reading scripture together folds the individual into a larger story. These rituals do not perform miracles. They steady the nervous system. Repetition builds trust. Tonight I read aloud as I always do, before letting sleep come. The habit joins my small room to a larger chorus. Somewhere, another person may also be hearing these words. Slow and measured, the shared listening makes the night feel less like an island. It becomes a strand in a wider net. One gentle image comforts me often. Imagine a circle of lanterns along a shoreline. Each lantern is held by a single person. The lights look small, but together they show a path. A boat on the water can follow the line. It does not matter which lantern burns brighter. The whole line makes the way visible. The kingdom's community glows like that. If guilt tells you that you do not belong, refuse the lie gently. Belonging is not a reward for perfection. It is a gift that arrives in small measures. Accept a single kindness tonight. Allow a short kindness to be placed in your hands. Let it feel odd. Let it also change the muscles that close off when wounded. We practice mutual bearing by changing one small habit. When someone tells a short sadness, resist the urge to fix it. Instead, rest in listening. Let the quiet of your presence say, I am here. The action is humble and often more healing than words intended to solve. Holding presence is a spiritual skill. It grows with practice. Community also includes those who serve in quiet roles. Nurses, counselors, distant friends who maintain steady contact. They do not often get applause. Their constancy shapes days. When the world feels brittle, remembering them helps. It restores faith that someone will notice when a light goes out. I guide a short exercise we can do together now. Take 3 breaths. With the first, name one person who watches over you. With the second, name one you can watch over. With the third, name one you will let go into care you do not control. These names do not need drama. They are simple markers of webbed belonging. Tonight I will read a small blessing for these webs. I lay the Bible in my lap. I feel the weight and the warmth. The book reminds me that community is not only human. It reaches toward the steady presence who keeps watch beyond what we can see. That thought settles easier than many arguments. If loneliness presses, consider joining a small group tomorrow. Seek a place where people practice ordinary mercy, not perfect structures, not performances. A table with slow talk, a room where tears are not wrong. These places change the tone of life over time. They teach the body how to expect company. Before I close this portion, imagine the habit of passing on what you receive. Mercy travels best when it moves. If someone offers a word of kindness, let it change your next action. Send a note. Tidy a shared space. Make tea for a friend. These easy things are ways of passing the light. I fold the page and pause. The lamp makes a soft circle. In the hush, I hold the thought that belonging is both a gift and a call. We rest to be given. We rest to be ready to reach. The balance is quiet and careful. Tonight's sleep is the first place to practice collective care. Lay down your burdens with one hand, and with the other imagine handing someone's name into a line of lanterns on the shore. Trust that they are held. Trust that your small rest matters to the whole. I will come back to the lamp and the pages. I will read slowly again and name more names. For now, breathe once more. Feel the small movement of the chest. Let the knowledge of shared company settle like a cool cloth on a tired forehead. One last steady breath. In, hold. Out, let the shoulders drop. The night keeps watch. The community keeps watch. I keep watch in the small room with the Bible in my lap. Sleep into this company. Good night. I open the Bible and let my thumb rest on the page where promises gather. The lamp is low. The room feels patient. I read slowly, not to teach, but to let words settle like warm stones on the chest. Doniti focus on promises. They are steady things. They are meant to hold when the mind wanders. Promises in this book appear like letters left on a doorstep. Each one has a handprint at the bottom. They are not abstract slogans. They are statements meant to be kept. The thought of that steadiness eases a restless mind. It gives a place to land when worry moves in circles. I do not ask you to believe a long catalogue. I invite you to notice one single promise. Pick one that touches the edge of worry tonight. Let it be small. Let it be simple. Place it in your memory like a pebble on a windowsill. You do not need to carry the whole shelf of promises at once. One will do for this hour. There is comfort in naming a promise aloud in the mind. Name it slowly. Listen to the sound of the words in your head. Let them be a soft drumbeat. The repetition teaches the body a new rhythm. It slows the breath. It loosens the hold that fear keeps around the throat. A small practice helps. Close the eyes if that feels safe. Breathe in for 3 counts. Hold 1. Breathe out for 4. On the in-breath, think of the promise like a small light. On the out-breath, picture that light moving into a place that feels tight. Repeat this for a few cycles. The image is simple. It is enough. Promises often come with images that comfort a shelter that stands in rain. A hand that steadies a stumbling one. A lamp that stays lit when the road is dark. Think of one image tonight. Hold it gently. Let the image act as an anchor for scattered thought. When the mind starts rehearsing lists, return to that picture. Let it quiet the motion. Trust grows slowly. It does not erupt all at once. Trust looks like a rope thrown to a small boat. The rope is thick and frayed, but it holds. The boat may wobble. The hand that holds the rope keeps pulling. Slowly the vessel moves toward safety. Promise-keeping is often like that rope. It reaches across doubt and finds purchase in the heart. Sometimes the mind asks for proof. It wants signs. receipts, warranties. The Bible's promises are different. They read more like signatures than invoices. They are not written to be cashed in on demand. They are written to steady the long haul. When proof feels distant, rest in the signature. Let the written name be enough tonight. A quiet image calms me, a letter sealed and left on a table. The stamp is simple. The ink is not flashy. The letter bears a promise of presence. You can set your palm on it and feel the heat of the ink. The action is symbolic. But symbols change nervous systems. If it helps, imagine writing the date on the letter tonight. Place it under your pillow. The act is small and practical. It tells the mind that a promise is being kept in the heart even as sleep arrives. Promises also ask for attention. They do not work as talismans you hang on the wall and forget. They are like plants that require water. Pick one promise and give it a small, regular action. A nightly breath, a morning pause, a whispered sentence before rising. These little disciplines are not heavy tasks. They are like watering a seed in a pot on a sill. Over weeks, the seed will push a tender shoot into the light. I read passages that speak of gentleness toward the weak. The tone is not harsh. It is steady and compassionate. Let those tones move into the body tonight. If the chest feels tight, imagine a hand pressing lightly there. The pressure is cooling. It does not fix everything. It changes the feeling enough to allow sleep to work. There is also an image of a map with worn edges. The map does not show every hill. It marks safe wells and trusted paths. Promises act like those map marks. They point toward places of rest. When decision-making grows loud, return to the map. Look for the sign that reads rest here. Follow it without the pressure to solve every future turn. Another practical exercise is to collect 3 small promises in the mind before sleep. Not a long list. 3 small things that feel truthful. Imagine placing each promise on a separate shelf in a quiet room. When a worry arrives, open the shelf and touch the nearest promise. Let it speak softly to the edge of your thought. The touch is like a small bell. It recalls steadiness. Promises are often communal. They are designed for company. Remember that the promises you read tonight are not private goods. They are meant to be shared by those who gather in small rooms and hush their voices. Even if sleep comes alone, the promises belong to a wide net. Picture others out there who have laid these same words on their pillows. That thought lessens the pressure of being the sole keeper of comfort. If doubt hardens the mind, treat it with kindness. Doubt is not an enemy to exile. It is a companion to be noticed. Speak to it in short sentences. Tell it you will give it time in the morning. For now, choose one promise and let the doubt sit beside it like a small guest. Hospitality softens harshness. The guest will learn a new tone in the hush. Sometimes a promise arrives, not as a sentence, but as memory, a time when care was present without conditions. An instance of unexpected help, a moment when fear loosened. Hold that memory as evidence. It is not proof of perfection. It is a witness to the way promise and presence can intersect. Let the memory support trust tonight. The Bible's promises also include the promise of morning. This is not merely an image of sunlight. It is a practical assurance the day will come again, and with it, new small capacities. Sleep is part of that promise. It is not only a biological reset, it is a place where the mind rehearses healing. Let the promise of morning rest as a soft knowledge in the chest. When the night seems long, whisper that certainty inwardly. I guide a short breath practice for those who prefer movement. Sit or lie so the back is supported. Breathe slowly. On the in-breath count 3. On the out-breath count 4. With each out-breath say the name of the promise softly in the mind. No long explanation, just the name. The repetition rewrites the reflex to worry. It trains the body to expect steadiness. There will be nights when promises feel thin. The mind may measure the distance between what is said and what seems real. In such hours, small acts of remembrance help. Place a finger on the Bible where the sentence rests. Trace the margin with slowness. Let the tactile motion link the mind to the word. The touch is not ritual for its own sake. It is an honest way to connect body and promise. When rest finally takes hold, imagine the promises folded gently into the dream. They do not disappear. They rearrange themselves inside the sleeping mind. Dreams sometimes work with the material we feed them. If the day was full of fear, the night can take the promises and weave them into gentler patterns. Let the promise be the raw material of that quiet work. I remember my own small nights of unrest. Promises helped then. They did not do all the labor. They kept a corner of the heart warm enough for courage to return. The testimonies are simple. They are practical proof that trust can grow with patience. These are not grand claims. They are the kind of help a lamp gives when the full sun is far away. Before I close the book, I invite a short commitment. Choose one promise to carry through the next day. Keep it short enough to repeat without fuss. Place it where the eye will touch it, a folded note in a pocket, a line on a screensaver, a phrase on a small card. The act is humble. It trains attention. It makes the promise live in ordinary motion. I fold the page and rest the Bible on my lap. The cover feels familiar. The lamp throws a small, warm disk over the wood. I slow my breath and let the promise breathe with me. The mind may still hum with questions. That is permitted. The presence of promises is not an eraser. It is a steady hand on the shoulder that says, I keep watch with you. One final practice before sleep. Breathe in slowly. Place a hand where the chest rises. Breathe out and imagine laying down one single worry at the feet of the promise you chose tonight. Do not demand the mind produce a solution. Let the act be symbolic and true. Allow the shoulders to drop by a small measure. I will return with this book and the same low voice. Tomorrow night we will read again. For now, let the promises you have chosen keep a soft vigil. Let them steady the pulse. Let them hold the restless mind in gentleness. One last breath. In, hold, out. The room breathes with the quiet. The Bible rests warm. Sleep into the assurance that some words are meant to be kept. Good night. The lamp is low. The Bible rests open on my knees. The pages breathe when the room breathes. I do not hurry. I let the words come like small steps. Tonight, the focus is faith. not loud faith, not the sort that demands spectacle. A quiet faith that shifts the lens through which a life is seen. It does not promise a sudden removal of worry. It offers a different view. It shows possibilities that the anxious mind does not notice. I read a verse and let its shape settle. It speaks of promises that are given and shared. The idea feels like a warm thread laid across a cold shoulder. The thread does not change the chill at once. It begins to make a difference. That is enough for one night. Breathe with me. Inhale slowly. Hold the breath for a light count. Exhale long and soft. Repeat twice more. Each breath is a small training for trust. The lungs forget frantic rhythms when practiced gently. Faith often comes as a small, correcting lens. Imagine being in a dim room with a single small window. From the inside, shapes look close and sharp. From the window, the night spreads wide. A tree that seemed a gate is a single branch. A worry that felt huge becomes a line on the horizon. The window does not remove darkness. It changes perspective. Another image helps. Picture eyeglass left on a table. Without them, the road ahead blurs. Put them on, and distant features return. Faith sometimes plays that part. It is not a magic lens. It is a tool that allows eyes to see further. A hill becomes a path. A distant light appears where none was perceived. The seeing calms the step. Faith also lives in small practices. Name one worry in a single word. Do not rehearse every detail. Keep it bare. Hold it like a pebble in the palm of the mind. Now imagine that pebble placed on a large, open map. The map is not a promise of quick answers. It simply shows other routes. Look for one small route that might lead away from the worry. Follow it mentally for 3 breaths. The act trains imagination toward possibility. Sometimes faith is like a closed door opening to a quiet room. The room does not erase the corridors that led to it. It offers a space to sit and think from a softer posture. In that room, rest becomes possible. Décision, mais comme lecteur. For now, a seat and a warm cup suffice. I read again from the page. The language uses precious promises. Those words are not a weapon. They are an invitation to steady the heart. Let a single promise be placed beside the pillow. Keep its shape simple. Repeat it in the quiet. Allow the repetition to steady the nervous system. Small faith, repeated, becomes a practice. Faith does not deny feelings. Fear, grief, and tiredness still arrive. Faith does not greet them with impatience. Instead, it offers a companionable question. What if this situation is not the only story? The gentle question is like a candle in a dark room. It does not blow the night away. It gives a point to focus on. A short exercise helps bring this into the body. Close the eyes if that feels safe. Place a hand over the chest. Breathe slowly. On the in-breath, think of one small possibility you would like to be true. It could be as modest as finding one friendly voice tomorrow. On the out-breath, send that possibility outward like a small paper boat. Watch it float. Do this for 4 cycles. The motion trains the gut to hold hope lightly. Faith is also communal. Shared hope gives it weight. Think of a string of small lights across a yard Each light alone is gentle. Together they show a path. When others share faith, the path becomes clearer. Names can be offered into this shared light. A friend, a neighbor, a distant family member. Place one name quietly into the thought of promise. Imagine the name glowing for a moment. The simple act links a private heart to a wider care. Fear sometimes asks for certainty. Faith answers with probabilities rather than guarantees. That difference matters. Probability allows for movement. Certainty demands immediate proof. The mind that is trained to look for possibilities can act while the anxious mind stays stuck. The training begins with tiny choices, a gentle word, a small act of mercy, a practice of gratitude at the edge of sleep. Gratitude and faith walk well together. They do not cancel the hard things. They shift the field of attention. Name one small kindness from today. A smile given, a task reached, a hand that steadied. Hold that kindness for a breath. Let it widen the margin of trust. The habit of noticing shapes the way faith grows. There is space here for doubt. Doubt is not disloyal to faith. It is a companion that asks necessary questions. Tread doubt kindly. Let it sit and speak for a moment. Ask the doubt to take a seat on the edge of the room. Then return to the little practice of naming a possibility. The two can coexist. Sometimes faith speaks as a refusal. Refuse the lie that every fear must be solved before sleep. Refuse the demand that today's failures define tomorrow entirely. The refusal is a small act of courage. It loosens the grip of rumination. It makes room for rest. I guide a short faith practice for the night. Choose one small worry that repeats when the lights go out. Bring it forward and name it in one soft sentence. Then imagine handing it to a steady palm. The palm does not demand an account. It keeps what is given. Visualize a small glow around the palm. Place the worry there and step back. Breathe 3 times. Each breath becomes a seal on that handing. Return the worry to its place tomorrow morning if needed. Tonight it rests elsewhere. Prayer and faith are close friends. Simple prayers are often the most faithful. A short line said slowly helps. Keep it honest and brief. The simpler the prayer, the easier it is for the body to accept. In the quiet of the room, a short prayer can become the hinge that lets trust move. Faith also trains the hands to act when fear attempts to dominate. A small act of kindness, tomorrow morning coffee for a neighbor. A brief note to someone becomes a practical rehearsal. It proves that small choices can be shaped by hope rather than fear. Over time, those small acts change posture. The nervous system learns a new rhythm. A final image tonight. Picture a horizon with thin, pale light. The line is small at first. It grows as the minutes pass. The through line of faith is much like that. It begins as a thin light against vast, dark. The light is not a sudden sun. It is a patient presence that widens with steady attention. Sleep is the night that lets new light gather. Allow the thin seam of dawn to be the first promise you keep for tomorrow. I close the page. After a last slow breath, the Bible is warm beneath the hands. The room holds the low scrape of pages settling. A short pause follows. In that pause, let a single thought be placed. gently. Small faith is enough tonight. I promise to read again. The lamp will be here. The pages will wait. The voice will stay calm. Until then, breathe once more. Inhale slow. Hold. Exhale long and soft. Let the shoulders drop by a measure. Let the heart keep company with this small possibility that something better than worry can find room in the night. I close the book with care. The cover makes a soft sound. That sound is a small benediction. The lamp dims another fraction. Rest into what faith offers tonight. Not certainty. A calm posture. A willingness to look for light. A readiness to place one worry at a time into hands that keep watch. Good night. I will return with the same quiet voice and the same gentle light. Sleep into the possibilities. I lift the lamp until its glow rests on the open page. The Bible is warm on my knees. My voice stays low. Tonight I speak of resting in divine arms. The world often moves fast. The body knows that pace too well. It holds the day like a pack. The chest tightens. Sleep seems distant. The idea now is simple. Let go of the pace. Let go into a pair of arms that do not tire. Breathe with me once. Inhale slow. Hold for a soft beat. Exhale long. Feel the shoulders ease. I place a hand over the book and then a hand on my chest. The pulse is steady. It is a small drum that keeps time without hurry. That rhythm becomes the lullaby. Imagine a pair of arms. They are large enough to hold a tired life. They are gentle enough to touch a small wound without pressure. Picture those arms as a soft cradle. The cradle does not rock to fix everything. It rocks so the heart can slow. The motion is plain. It is enough. The image of being carried is not childish. It is an honest picture for grown fatigue. I think of a harbour where a boat ties up after travel. The harbour does not demand explanations. It only provides shelter. The arms are like that harbour. They accept a list of worn things without tallying. A life can rest there without proving worth. I do not press doctrines into the dark. I let images do the work. Imagine the fabric of a cloak laid across the lap. It is not ornate. It is soft. It cools the skin. You can place a hand on the fabric and feel the warmth steady. That sensation is trust in the unseen made tangible. Faith, at its quietest, is the willingness to place a hand on a cloak and accept warmth, even if the face that offered it sits beyond sight. I read a line from the page and slow it down. The sentence sits like a small stone in the palm of the hand. I do not explain every word. I let it settle. Faith is assurance of things unseen. The thought is simple. It asks for a posture more than a verdict. Stand close. Breathe. And accept that there are steady hands beyond the edge of sight. Now a short practice to make this true in the body. Close your eyes if that feels safe. Place both hands over the heart. Feel the rise and fall beneath the palms. Breathe in. Picture arms moving toward you. They do not arrive theatrically. They arrive as a soft presence, like someone lowering a hand to rest on your shoulder. Breathe out and imagine leaning into that hand. Hold this lean for 3 breaths. Each exhale deepens the rest. A lullaby often repeats a phrase. Repetition calms the nervous system. Choose one small phrase for tonight. Keep it plain. Rest in his arms. Let those words be a soft bell on the out-breath. Say them once. Breathe. Say them again. The phrase is not a slogan. It is a rhythm. It steadies the pulse and invites sleep to work. Picture a baby wrapped in a shawl. The shawl has no conditions. It only wraps. The baby does not earn the shawl. It takes the warmth by mere presence. This picture is not infantilizing. It is a model. Rest is not something to be achieved by merit. It is given. Let that change the angle of the night. The world tends to measure by doing. Tonight, set that scale down. Let rest be the primary action. Put the list of tomorrow into a small box in the mind. Close the lid gently. Promise to open it in the morning if needed. For now, return to the arms and their steady hold. There are nights when hands tremble because worry keeps replaying. On those nights, breathe slowly and place a hand over the other hand. Feel the warmth. That small pressure speaks the same language as arms. It tells the body that tenderness is permitted. It says, you do not have to perform to be held. I guide another image. Imagine being carried across a long room. The feet do not touch the floor. The weight shifts into the carrier. You notice the cadence of their steps. It is patient. It does not hurry. It does not look for applause. Those steps mirror mercy. They teach a new pace, slow, even, sure. If memories press, set them on a small pillow in imagination. Let each memory be an article placed there. Do not sort them. Do not judge. Lay them down and fold the edge of the pillow over. The arms take the pillow. They do not deny the memories. They hold them and allow the heart to rest under the weight of what is kept. Music can be a gentle partner to this practice. Soft tones, low and even, act like a cradle for thought. If it helps, hum lightly without words. Keep the hum a single note that does not rise. Let the hum match the breath. The human body responds to rhythm. A steady note becomes an anchor that the mind can follow away from the clattering speed of the day. Trusting unseen arms can feel risky. The mind asks for evidence. It wants receipts. The response for tonight is small. Test the arms in tiny ways. Allow one worry to be placed there. Notice what happens. Often the chest loosens by a hair. The jaw unclenches. Sleep etches closer. Make these small experiments repeatable. Over time, the body learns that the arms hold what cannot be fixed in one night. Prayer can be short. Keep it simple when the eyelids are heavy. A single sentence in the mind can be enough. Lord, hold me. Say it once with the out-breath, and then let silence do the rest. The brevity is part of the gift. It does not require eloquence. It requires only honesty. The arms I speak of are not solely comfort. They also steady, trembling courage. They allow the heart to be vulnerable without collapsing. Imagine lying back and finding that the hands supporting you do not flinch when pain moves through. The hands remain. The steadiness itself is a teacher. It shows how healing moves slowly when a body is permitted to relax. Do not mistake this rest for passivity. Rest is active in its surrender. Choosing to let go is a deliberate act. It requires courage to stop fixing and to start receiving. Tonight, practice that small courage. Choose rest once. Choose it again when a thought insists on productivity. The repetition rewires the reflexes that expect value only through doing. The mind sometimes argues that holding on is protection. It says, keep this worry close, and you will control the outcome. The arms invite a different claim. Place the worry down and discover what happens when the hands that hold it are not clenched. The world does not always bend to that gesture. But the body learns a new grammar of safety. The heart responds. I read a short passage and let its cadence slow. The words are a soft landing. They do not weigh the night with arguments. They spread out like a blanket. Let those lines rest on the lap. Let the cheeks feel their cool edge. The reading is not a test. It is companionship. Sometimes sleep arrives quickly. Other times it does not. Both outcomes are permitted. If eyes close and the mind stays busy, return to the basic practice, hands on the chest. Slow breath. The lullaby phrase on the out-breath. Do this until the shoulders let go. The method is patient and kind. It does not scold the wakeful mind. I fold the book in my hands as an act of attention. The motion is deliberate. It marks a boundary between reading and rest. I place the Bible gently beside the lamp. The small sound of closing pages is like a last exhale. In this hush, imagine the arms once more. See them as a harbor for the night. Let the image be the threshold into sleep. Letting go of the pace of the world also means accepting limits. Tomorrow will keep its demands. Tonight, the body speaks a different language. It says for now, let me be held. Practice that sentence as a kind word to the self. Repeat it slowly. Let it become the small mantra of the night. When I place a hand on my heart, I often feel the faint answer of the pulse. The rhythm is not strong or loud. It is enough. It keeps time while sleep rearranges the inner furniture. Trust that subtle work. Allow the arms to do their quiet labor in the dark. I promise to return with a lamp and the same measured voice. I will read again from the pages that hold these gentle pictures. For now, allow the arms to hold what you cannot solve tonight. Let the lullaby of breath and the quiet phrase be a soft scaffold for rest. One last slow breath together. Inhale deep and soft. Hold for a small beat. Exhale long and light. Feel the chest drop. Let the shoulders fall. Rest in that movement. Let the night carry you a little while. The arms do not tire. Their love is a perfect lullaby. I close the Bible with care. The lamp dims by a fraction. The room keeps the hush we have made. Sleep into the grip of those gentle arms. I will sit with the lamp again soon. Good night. I hold the Bible a little closer tonight. The pages breathe with the room. A line from Psalm 4:8 comes to mind like a hymn I have walked with before sleep in peace because safety is given. That thought becomes the beginning of a small journey. Gratitude is the road. I invite us to walk together. Breathe with me once. Inhale slowly. Hold a light beat. Exhale and let shoulders soften. The breath sets the pace. It makes each step gentle. Imagine a narrow path at dusk. The path is simple, small. Honest lights edge the way. Each light marks a thing to be thankful for. The lights do not glare. They simply show the next footstep. Walk slowly along this path in the mind. Take the first light as a starting place. I begin by naming 3 small gifts from today. Keep them tiny. A warm cup, an unexpected kindness, a moment when someone smiled. Say them quietly in the heart. Do not judge how large they sound. The act of naming is what matters. Now name 3 lessons learned. A mistake that taught patience, a correction that shaped gentleness, a limit discovered that asks for rest. These lessons are not failures. They are maps for the next day. Place each lesson like a folded note in a pocket of the thought path. Fold them carefully. Do not rehearse the drama. Keep the folds neat and small. The voice of 1 Thessalonians breathes softly between these acts. Give thanks in all circumstances. It does not call for cheer in every pain. It asks for a practice of seeing, even in hardship. A single thread of help can be found. Find that thread and let it sit beside the other small gifts. Move now to people. Think of 2 faces that came near today. A friend who listened. A stranger who held a door. One may bring warmth. One may bring a lesson. Offer each person a quiet blessing in the mind. Blessings need no speech. They travel in the hush. If a heavy moment sits at the edge of the path, do not avoid it. Take a breath and face it briefly. Ask, what did this teach? Offer thanks for the lesson. Even if the moment hurt, lessons are not trophies. They are tools. Place that tool beside the folded notes. There is also room for sorrow on this road. Gratitude does not deny grief. It makes room for it. Fold grief into a small envelope. Label it gently. This is heavy. Put the envelope on the path and leave it near a lantern. Let the lantern warm it a little. Warming does not erase. It lets the edge become less sharp. A short practice helps anchor this walk. Close the eyes, if that feels safe. Place a hand where the chest rises. Breathe in slowly and picture 1 small gift shining like a soft stone in the palm. Breathe out and set the stone on the path. Repeat for 3 breaths with 3 gifts. The stones stack without pressure. Their weight is counted differently, now lighter because chosen freely. Gratitude is a kindness to the nervous system, as much as to the mind. The body keeps score of where attention rests. When attention rests on small good things, muscles enclenchent. The jaw eases. The breath gains room. The chest remembers a steadier rhythm. Tonight, I also ask for a practice of thankfulness toward myself. Name 1 thing done today that deserves a quiet nod. A task finished. A restraint held. A step taken despite of fear. Give the mind permission to notice this action. Self-kindness is not vanity. It is a form of mercy. Place that nod like a tiny ribbon on the path. Now gently expand the gratitude outward. Think of 1 thing in creation that steadied the day. A tree's shadow, the taste of rain, the small clarity of evening air. Let that thing be a testimony that life offers steady gifts beyond control. Thank the natural world for its patient presence. If the mind slips toward thinking it must earn rest, return to the Psalm's quiet claim. Rest is given because safety is present. The language is not a rule to tally. It is a promise that steadies weary bones. Let this promise sink into the chest like cool water. An easy practice to close the journey. Make 3 small offerings in imagination. Offer 1 light to someone who needs cheer. Offer a folded note of thanks to one who taught a lesson. Offer a short breath of peace to yourself. The acts are miniature and repeatable. They train hands to give away what warms them. As I read these pages, the pattern repeats softly: name, notice, place, and release. Each step is simple. The path does not demand perfect memory. It asks only for a steady habit. In time, the habit changes the body's default. It teaches the heart to expect small gifts instead of only threats. If rest seems far, slow the pace further. Walk only 1 step. Sit down by the nearest lantern and look back at the small stones and ribbons gathered. Let the eyes soften. Let the shoulders drop. A single pause can be enough to begin sleep. There is a gentle prayer I offer in the hush tonight. It is short and clear. It is not a complicated theology. It is trust in a steady presence that watches without haste. In the mind, say 1 sentence. Thank you for today. Let it be plain. Let it be true. Repeat it once with the breath. Remember that giving thanks in all circumstances does not mean praising every hardship. It means locating small threads of mercy even when the cloth of the day frays. It trains the eyes to look for light. That training is a kind mercy to the heart. Another small exercise helps if the mind keeps racing. Picture a small box on a bedside table. Drop into the box a single paper for each gratitude and lesson named tonight. Close the lid. Do not open it now. Trust that the box keeps what is set inside. The symbolic action often quiets analysis and lets sleep begin. As the path nears its end, imagine a low gate. Beyond it is a safe field. Psalm 4:8 speaks here, sleep in peace, because safety is given. Walk through the gate. Lay down the remaining worries at the feet of the watching presence. No long explanations. No more rehearsals. Place them like last small stones in the grass. Lie down on the field in the mind. Feel the body's weight spread. Breathe slowly. Let the presence of care settle like a soft cover. The promise of safety does not remove storms. It offers a place to rest while storms pass. Rest is not escape. It is repair. Before I close the book tonight, I offer one more practical choice. Pick a single habit to carry this gratitude journey forward. A nightly 3-gift name. A morning note. A folded list in a pocket. Make it small and reachable. Smallness keeps it possible. I will read again soon. The lamp and the pages wait. The pattern of naming and placing will repeat tonight. Though the work is to sleep into what has been noticed. Let the breath become long and even. Let the chest sink. Allow a deepening calm to take the shoulders. One last breath with me. Inhale slowly. Hold a soft beat. Exhale and imagine the field holding the day. Feel the pulse steady under the palm. Know that gratitude and promise have prepared a place for rest Trust that safe sleep is close. I close the book with a deliberate hand. The cover makes a soft, final sound. The room keeps the hush. The path of gratitude remains lit, like a line of small lights. Walk it again tomorrow if you like. For now, lie down in that field and sleep. Rest in peace. Good night. I sit with the lamp low and the Bible open on my lap. The room inhales and exhales with the night. My thumb rests at a verse that has kept me company when sleep felt distant. I do not read it out loud in long form. I let its meaning settle. It asks us to bring our cares in prayer and to do so with thanksgiving. Then it promises a quiet that holds the heart beyond restless thought. Breathe with me now. Inhale easy. Hold for a soft count. Exhale long and slow. Let the rhythm set the pace for the next few minutes. The breath is a quiet bell. It calls attention home. I invite a gentle turning of the mind. Think of the day as a small bag you carried. It is not a great sack of events. It is a simple bundle of moments. Some of those moments were bright. Some were dull. Some were heavy. For a while, carry them in the light. Notice each one without argument. Start with one small gift from the day. It might be a warm cup, a short laugh, a hand that reached for yours. Name it slowly in the mind. Sit with the warmth that the memory brings. Let gratitude rest there, like a smooth stone in the palm. Now notice one thing that weighs at the chest. Name it with a single word. Do not tell its whole story. Keep the naming short. The act of naming loosens the fist that holds it. It moves the burden from a tangled knot into an object you can place down. I put my hand on the Bible and imagine placing the named burden onto the page. The book does not tally scores. It simply holds what is offered. In that quiet imagining, allow the shoulders to drop a fraction. Let the jaw unclench a little. One small shift matters. Breathe in again. This time, breathe with intention. On the in-breath, gather the small list of things to be thankful for. On the out-breath, let the named burden go. Picture it moving away like a paper boat set on a slow stream. Watch the ripples. The water does not erase the boat instantly. It carries it. The action is enough. If you prefer a different image, choose a low bridge and a slow river. Walk to the middle. Place the day's weight on the rail. Open the pack slightly and reach in. Pull out a single stone and say its name. Offer it to the hand. You imagine just out of view. Let it be taken. You do not need to see the hand. Trust that the hand is steady. Say a short sentence of thanks as you release. Keep it plain. Let the words be a soft exhale. Thank you for this. The sentence does not demand proof that life will be tidy tomorrow. It simply places the day into a grateful posture. Gratitude and release travel together. There is room for regrets in this practice. If a regret presses, hold it lightly in the next breath. Offer it with the phrase, I notice this. I bring it now. Then set it down. Do not try to repair everything before sleep. Repair often grows in small increments. The night prepares the heart to mend slowly. I read in my mind the invitation to present requests with thanksgiving. It changes the tone of asking. To give thanks while asking does not make problems vanish. It shifts the heart away from frantic demand. The asking then becomes an honest laying of needs beside the shelter of faith. So speak one need, now, quietly, a wish for rest, a wish for clarity in the morning, a wish for courage for someone you love. Keep the request brief. Let it be like a small seed you place in the soil. Do not demand that it sprout now. Allow the soil of the night to do its quiet work. Draw a breath that is slow enough to notice the body. Place a hand over the heart. Feel the rise and fall beneath the palm. The feeling is a simple witness. The heart keeps time. Let that rhythm calm other rhythms that run too fast. I pause in the quiet and imagine the peace that follows the act of releasing. It is not a noisy cheer. It is a deep, steady hush, the kind of hush that feels like a blanket on a busy mind. It is a peace that surpasses detailed reasoning. The thought alone can be a balm. If worry returns, return to the breath and the simple image of placing one stone on the rail. Keep the pace slow. Releasing is a habit more than a single triumph. Repetition trains the body to expect solace. Miracle work is not required. Small, faithful acts do the work over time. There may be nights when the day holds more than one heavy stone. Choose one to set down first. You will not empty the pack in an hour. That is okay. A single stone released is still relief. Let gratitude for that smaller relief be its own small candle. I speak a short prayer now, not to perform, but to place the day. The words are plain in the mind. They do not need to be ornate. Ask simply that the cares you named be carried with gentleness. Ask that the mind find rest. Ask that mercy and quiet meet the chest. After the prayer, sit with the silence that follows. Silence is not empty. It is a space where the day dissolves into the night. In that space, the hold, the mind had loosens. The breath becomes a friend. The lamp's small circle of light hums softly against the dark. If your hands feel busy, let them rest on the blanket or on the knees. Let the tension fall into the fabric. Feel the points where the body touches the bed or chair. Attention to these details grounds the mind away from spiraling thoughts. The small sensations are anchors. I often find adding a measure of thanks for myself helps. Find one small thing done today that deserves a soft nod. Perhaps it was patience in a hard moment. Perhaps it was a small step toward a needed conversation. Give that deed a word of thanks. Let self-kindness be part of the posture as you release. Now, imagine the present moment as a small room with a single window. Light pours in just enough to warm the sill. The room is the now. Let the day's burdens sit at the door and allow the present to be what it is. No need to drag yesterday's weight into this still place. The now itself is a gift. We will practice this again. For tonight, tuck away the plan to replay the day. Promise the mind an appointed hour in the morning to revisit solutions. Night is for rest. Morning is for action. This distinction is a mercy you can give yourself. If sleep still holds off, try a short breath count. Inhale for 3. Hold 1. Exhale for 5. Let each exhale be an offering. On each out-breath, whisper one short word, inward release, rest, peace. Keep the words soft. The repetition becomes a slow bell that calls the mind away from worry. I close the Bible slightly and feel its steady warmth. The book is a companion, not a judge. I fold the page and let the lamp sit in its small circle. The house breathes with us. The night keeps its patient watch. Before I leave you to sleep, I place one simple promise in the room. The peace you asked for will not be a loud victory. It will be a quiet presence that stays with you as you breathe. It may be small at first. It will widen in the morning light. Hold that thought gently. Now a final, steadying breath together. Inhale. Feel the chest rise. Hold a soft count. Exhale and imagine setting the last small stone down. Allow the shoulders to drop. Feel the weight shift. Let the mind rest into the hush. I lay the Bible beside the lamp. The sound is very soft. I will return with these pages and this voice. For now, sleep into the peace you have asked for. Let gratitude steady the heart. Let release be a gentle gift to yourself. Good night. The lamp is low. The Bible is warm in my lap. I keep my voice soft. Tonight I offer a short list of requests to God for peace. I read them slowly. Each line is small. Each line is simple. Breathe with me once. Inhale gently. Hold a quiet beat. Exhale and let the shoulders ease. The breath sets the pace. It becomes the rhythm of these few petitions. First, a request for inner peace. I bring what is restless in the chest. I name the tight places without turning them into a long story. A single short phrase in the mind is enough. Calm this heart. I do not argue the how. I ask for a gentle softening. I imagine peace as a cool cloth placed on a fevered brow. It does not fix everything tonight. It cools. It helps the pulse slow. Second, a request for sleep that restores. The body needs repair. The mind needs repair. I ask that sleep come with its quiet mending. I picture sleep as a harbor where the small boat of the soul ties up safe. The waves still move. The boat does not. Rest arrives like a steady dock. I ask for that steadiness. Third, a request for mercy toward mistakes. I bring the small failings of the day. No long catalogue. A name. A moment. A small regret. I ask for mercy that is practical and kind. Mercy that cleans and covers like warm water and a bandage. Mercy that allows a person to begin again in the morning without being crushed by the list of last steps. Fourth, a request for courage to forgive and be forgiven. I know that some of you carry sharp things tonight. A word that cut too deep. A memory that will not leave. I ask for a softening of edges. I ask for a readiness to let go of some of the small stones held in tight fists. Forgiveness need not be complete by dawn. A small loosening is enough for tonight. Fifth, a request for peace in relationships. I think of the fragile places where words become walls. I ask for calm voices, for ears willing to listen, for small gestures that rebuild trust. I picture a table set, simply people sit, No one must explain everything. The meal itself is medicine. Sixth, a request for those who are grieving. I bring names into the hush. Grief can feel like a cold room. I ask that warmth come in small measures. A hand that stays, a memory that does not sting, a presence that does not demand bright cheer. I imagine grief folded tenderly like cloth and stored where light can touch it. Seventh, a request for bodies in pain. Illness presses in. I ask for relief that may be small but real sleep between the waves of pain. Strength for carers. Accurate hence for doctors. I picture the body as a garden in frost. A slow thaw begins somewhere. Tonight I ask it to begin. Eighth, a request for the anxious and the fearful. I think of minds that replay far-off troubles and make them present. I ask for a trimming of the anxious loops. I picture a moth that keeps circling a lamp. The moth grows weary. I ask for the lamp to shift its warmth, so the moth settles. For those whose thoughts keep spinning, I ask for a small stilling. Ninth, a request for those who feel alone. Loneliness is a hard weather. I ask for a friend in the morning, a kind voice, a small note. I imagine lanterns along a shore. Each lantern is one simple kindness. May a lantern be lit for anyone walking in darkness tonight. 10th, a quiet request for the world, beyond our walls. I think of places that are bruised by conflict, by hunger, by fear. I ask for small reliefs to reach those corners. I do not solve great politics here. I send a humble wish that help find its way along patient hands. I read these petitions without hurry. Each one lands like a pebble in a still pool. The ripples are gentle. The water remembers that stillness returns. Now a short practice to carry these requests. Close the eyes, if that feels safe. Place a hand where the chest rises. Breathe in and collect one of the petitions in the mind. It might be the request for mercy, or for sleep, or for a friend. Hold it like a small coin. Exhale, and imagine placing that coin on the open page of the Bible in my lap. The book in the mind keeps what is placed there. Repeat this for 3 petitions. The motion is small and deliberate. It trains the body to hand things over rather than clutch them. After the handing, sit in 5 slow breaths. On each out-breath, say quietly in the mind a short release. Let this rest. The phrase is brief and repeatable. It becomes a soft bell for the nervous system. Repetition matters more than eloquence. I also invite a few suggested words to share with another person before sleep. If a loved one sits near, speak one of these softly. I carried a burden today. I handed it over. Or I thought of you and wished you sleep. Or may peace find you tonight. Keep the lines short. Keep them gentle. A single sentence can change the tone of an evening. If speaking aloud is not possible, send one brief message, a short text that simply says, "Thinking of you, rest. Well, can steady 2 hearts. If reaching out feels too hard, consider writing a short note on a scrap of paper and placing it under the pillow of someone who needs comfort. The sending is the same whether the person reads it now or later. The act of offering changes the giver as much as the receiver. Reflection helps this practice land. I offer 3 prompts to consider before sleep. They are simple. E. What small thing warmed me today? Name it. Let gratitude sit on that warm spot. R. What one small worry do I need to hand over tonight? Name it. And imagine setting it down. Sam, who needs a quiet word from me in the morning, plan to send that word. Make it brief and true. Answering these prompts does not demand perfection. Keep the answers brief. A phrase, a name, a tiny plan. The brevity keeps the mind from rehearsing the whole day. If you prefer to stay alone with the requests, try this whisper, a short blessing for 3 people. Say their names in the mind, not aloud, and wish them calm sleep. The act costs little. Its effect multiplies subtly over hours. Sometimes words feel thin. If words fail, use a gesture. Place a hand over the heart. Breathe 3 times. Each breath is an offering. Let the shoulders drop. The gesture itself is a prayer. I also ask you to notice what happens when you share these requests. Sharing does 2 things. It lightens the load in one chest. It places a lantern in another. Kindness travels in small acts. A single shared sentence can start a chain. Before we close, take the time to fold the day into a single line. Picture a seam across the horizon. Lay the day along that seam. Smooth it with a hand. Leave the seam unsealed for morning to open. Tonight accept a partial fixing. Let the rest be for another hour. I promise to read these simple petitions again when we meet. My voice will not hurry. The lamp will be low. The Bible will stay a warm weight. For now, carry one small request into sleep. Let one petition be your companion as you close your eyes. If you choose to share, do it gently. A whisper in a nearby ear, a short message to a phone, a note slipped into a hand. The action need not fix what is broken. It only places a tender truth into the night. You are not alone. One final practice together. Breathe in slowly. Gather a single request in the mind. Breathe out and imagine placing it into a wide patient palme. Feel the shoulders drop a fraction. Breathe again. Repeat once more. Each exhale is release. Each inhale is quiet hope. I close the book with hands that move slowly. The closing is careful. The small sound marks an intention. Sleep into the requests you have placed. Let the lamp watch a little longer, if that comforts you. Let the hush do its work. I will come back to these pages and to this low voice. Until then, share what you can. Rest with what you must. Trust that small prayers are kept. Sleep well. Good night. The lamp sits low. The pages warm beneath my hand. I close the hour with the Bible in my lap. The room breathes in the same slow rhythm as mine. I have read to you each night. Tonight I close the book with the same calm. Breathe with me once. Inhale slowly. Hold for a soft beat. Exhale long and even. The breath becomes a bridge between day and night. It steadies the heart. It steadies the thoughts. A short passage rests in my memory. It speaks of a God who keeps watch. The words I read do not heap burdens onto the mind. They place a promise near the chest. I do not explain every mystery. I let presence do the work. I imagine a small garden under moonlight. Paths are narrow and easy to walk. A bench waits. The air tastes faintly of evening. A gentle hand steadies the back. Not to rush, but to hold. That is the posture I ask you to receive now. Come and sit. Rest. I return the page to the book with deliberate care. The cover closes like a small shelter. A faint sound cuts the hush. The motion marks an intention. The day is folded away for a while. This is not denial. It is a simple choice to let repair begin. I place a hand on the spine. My thumb reads the familiar groove. The book is a companion, not a taskmaster. Its phrases have steadied weary minds. Tonight they have done the same. I let that comfort be enough. Look toward the small circle of lamplight. Let its edge be a ceremony. Inside it, cares become less urgent. Outside it, the world continues. Inside, a gentle faith holds. The room keeps time with that faith. I do not offer a long theology. I offer a short truth. You are watched. That watching is steady and kind. It does not demand accounts. It provides rest. Hold the thought like a coin in the palm of the mind. It is small. It is true. If heaviness still sits in the chest, name it once. Say the word inwardly. Do not explain. Do not justify. Naming loosens the tension. Let the word be placed on the page of the book in your imagination. The book keeps it there like an offered letter. It does not erase the memory. It changes how the memory sits in the heart. I guide a brief practice now. Close the eyes if that feels safe. Place a hand on the chest. Breathe, so the hand rises on the in-breath and falls on the out-breath. With each out-breath, picture a tiny weight stepping down from the shoulder. Make no demands for how many weights you can set down. One small thing is plenty. Gentleness matters. Speak to yourself as you would to a tired child. Use short sentences. Keep them kind. The voice in the head often works harder than the body. Let the voice soften. Let the sentences be like soft cloth on a wound. Prayer in the hush is simple. A short line will do. Tell the watching presence one request. Make it small. Maybe ask for sleep that refreshes. Maybe ask for calm in one relationship. Maybe name a single fear and offer it up with trust. The prayer need not be ornate. The honest sentence carries more than a long speech. I fold a small promise into the silence. I will return. My lamp and this book will be here again. The rhythm of these evenings is a slow, steady thing. Practice builds trust. Trust grows from repeated gentleness. Resting is not passive. It is a deliberate choosing of safety for the night. Lay down the day's ruling questions. Let them wait until morning. Night is for mending. Let the mind and the muscles take their appointed work. If a mind is restless, and sleep does not come right away, do not fret. Rest can happen without slumber. Lying still and breathing counts. The body repairs in small increments. The quiet itself is medicine. Picture a harbor at night. Boats are moored. The water lulls them without fuss. No one demands that the sea be still. Motion takes its own time. In the same way, allow emotions to be present without forcing their in. Watch them move. Let the harbor hold. I remind the heart of a small rule. Mercy precedes perfection. The hands that hold us do not balance a ledger before offering warmth. They reach first. Warmth comes before accounting. Accept that order tonight. Bow your head to that mercy. Receive it. If forgiveness or reconciliation waits in the wings of morning, let the night prepare the ground. Seed change with small acts of rest. Sleep gives perspective that tiredness cannot. Allow morning's light to work with the clarity that sleep brings. There is comfort in the ordinary, a warm cup, a blanket, a quiet house. These small gifts are not small to the body. They are scaffolding for peace. Name one ordinary kindness from today. Let gratitude rest on that tiny memory for a moment. Gratitude changes the chemistry of worry. Community keeps watch even when a room is still. Somewhere, others who have heard this voice tonight follow the same slow pattern. The shared hush forms a line of lamps across the dark. You are not alone in the waiting. The thought alone eases the jaw. If the night brings grief, do not push it away. Allow it a seat by the lamp. Offer it a measured attention. Let the tears, if they come, be a kind of work. Sorrow is not finished in a single hour. It rests when tended with gentleness. If anxiety circles like a restless bird, choose one phrase to return to with each breath. Keep it plain. Let it be a short anchor. Repeat it like a small bell. The phrase could be a simple truth. You are held. Say it softly on the out-breath, and let the sound steady the pulse. Before sleep, I place a small blessing on the room. May a peace that does not depend on circumstance find a place in the chest. May tired muscles loosen. May troubled thoughts find a softer order. May waking bring a measure of new strength. The blessing is offered without fanfare. It is steady and practical. I will sit at the same lamp again. The book will open in the same slow way. We will return to images that heal. We will continue to read without hurry. The promise is simple presence repeats. Keep one small habit from tonight. Perhaps it is a short sentence to say each evening. Perhaps it is the breath practice. Perhaps it is placing one worry on an imaginary shelf. Choose one tiny ritual and repeat it. Little rhythms teach the body to expect calm. When the lamp grows very dim, let the eyelids fall if they will. If not, return to the breath and to the image of the harbor. Imagine the boat steadying, not from force but from patient rest. The mind follows the body's lead. I close the Bible now with careful hands. The sound is like an exhale. The room deepens into the hush that follows reading. The hush is not empty. It holds the prayers, the names, and the small hopes we have set there. One more breath together. Inhale slow and full. Hold a light beat. Exhale long and soft. Feel the shoulders yield by a fraction. Let the jaw unclench. Let the chest lower into ease. Sleep will come on its own rhythm. Welcome it when it arrives. If it does not come immediately, remain gentle with the waiting. The night itself performs quiet work that daylight cannot. Trust that slow repair. Until the next lamp, keep this small promise. Show mercy to yourself. Rest is a form of mercy. Let it be given freely. Let it be accepted without argument. I will return with the same voice and the same book. I will read again from pages that have steadied many nights. For now, close your eyes, if that feels safe. Let the steady presence that these words point to keep watch. May you wake with a softer step. May the morning bring a measure more courage. May mercy greet you at the pillow's edge. Sleep under a quiet blessing. Good night.